Right, you streamers recording. Well, fuck that, I hate record the actual audio. Right.
I brought Forza with me, I know.
Who's she?
She comes with 10 bucks
The
too.
sharpest tool in the box.
Oh, we were talking about shit names earlier that celebrities have. The kids. So,
And I was going to call mine Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca?
Chewbacca lament.
Yes, exactly.
That could work.
Right.
No, you'll just shoot the setting, you'll just call it.
Right, if you all want to shut
Chewy-
the fuck up
chewy
so we
lemon.
start recording this. Lemons are all chewy. Anyway. I'm going to get stabbed for that. Right, you actually do have to be quiet. Right, I'll count you in and all when I'm done. Because it's just me. Oh, sorry, yes. Aye, let's... mine's is working fine. Can I get... Oh, hold on. Aye, mine's is working fine. I can hear myself. These...
That went well.
Try that again, please. Just,
Hello.
Speak how you're going to normally sit, if that's
Hello.
it. Aye, right, you're fine. Right, Van Dan and Craig. Hello.
Boo.
You're not actually going to do that when you're speaking.
Probably because we're going to try and sit in it.
No, that could be interesting for the live stream. It's just.
Got my fucking penguins in the corner. Right, okay. I've got some kind of soon coming for that direction. And Andrew.
You're right.
Ah, it's good actually. That's acceptable. Right.
Acceptable.
I'm going for a piss first though.
Start recording first.
No. Right, so just talk amongst yourselves for another 5 minutes.
No, we're just going to sit and be silent, just so you can back.
I do believe you can be fucking silent. Usually you ever run all day.
Just tell me, yeah.
I thought you just said you worked 4 hours in silence.
Yeah,
Yeah, for all day, but fucking 4 hours or something.
Just go on his Facebook when he was away.
Yes.
You will be shafted, General. Oh, fuck it. I haven't seen that 4 inches in the video.
Life's too fucking short.
That's it.
Eddie's.
we already cracked that joke. We're talking about Mark Inchell. So
What? How does this... What? Harvey! Is there a mouse?
There is the car. He's got his Facebook on already.
Like a cool bloody gun.
Where's the keyboard?
On the tree.
Oh.
Seriously, Romanov. Romanov. I have seen Chico go faster.
You'd be as well turning that mic room.
Just to piss, but there. Yeah.
I see if you turn it that way. There you go.
Ah, but it's just, let's just say it's active. Because his mind kept telling us to speak it beside the light.
Okay, I'll try
Yeah,
her.
we can shout it and... What you say is buff anyway, so...
Boof.
Boof.
You're getting around with
Boofy buff. Well, it's the new year, it's a new version. We have to keep things fresh. See if you've got the cables there. That would have been just...
Hey, dude.
Finally, get started.
I don't know, we've been here since we had +6. Sorry.
Well, I've made it here at 6.
Sorry.
I've been here for about 3 years
Yeah,
now.
I've been here since Monday, so shut the fuck up.
Just Monday.
Where were you before that?
Didn't he ask? No comment. Plead the fifth.
You didn't get the fifth, I'm afraid, Mark.
Well, the Fifth Amendment here's probably
I
somewhere.
can't wait to that one because it's that one.
It's quite shut a daft bastard.
I do that, man. What was else?
The mouse.
Aye, try to use it when it's fucking not.
Yeah, but it's bright as a burst light bulb.
No, I've done it a few times. Like, so I went to use his mouse, but I'm leaving on his computer. I'm on his laptop thing.
Right,
Like,
you want to all be quiet then and I'll start us off. I've got my list. That's the signal for when I unmute you though. But you'd actually do be quiet still. And a happy new year. We're back for the first live show 2012 after a promised Christmas special that didn't quite happen, but we'll get into that and the rest of the week's riveting news as always. And this week we should say we've got our special guest. We've got Andrew Heath here. I'm sure he's quite pleased to be here. He's giving me the look like, I can't wait to be on the show. He's just shot himself in the head. Anyway, we'll start on my riveting list of crap for this week, which was basically to welcome everybody back. Hope you all had a good New Year, Christmas, whatever.
No, that wasn't too bad.
Sounds like you were fucking shot in the foot or something. What's happening?
I was round at some arsehole's house for New Year.
New Year at one house was fine until a bunch of assholes, one arsehole in particular turned up. And
it was my fucking house, I was meant to be here, you kid.
No, it's not you, don't worry, it's not you.
Oh, fantastic.
This wouldn't have nothing to do with wrestling at the door, would it?
Well, you see, that particular point. No, you see, that particular point in time, I had no idea that Mark had invited her, so I thought she had just turned up uninvited.
Who's this we're talking about again?
Jenna.
Oh.
Which is a banned subject. Which is a banned subject for this podcast, so we'll swiftly move it on.
Jenna and Mark, aren't they?
You'll be out that door so fast, I'll tell you.
Speed kills, it'll be nice and slow. Watch this space.
You better be careful, because I will stop this and battle the fuck out of you with my snow shovel, which I never got to use.
On we go.
Just like the snow shovel, I was disappointed. We never got the Christmas special out. Or, well, halfway through, we decided that we were going to make it the New Year special. And then at New Year's I decided, no.
In fairness, Mark, we did give folk the opportunity to comment on what their best bits were, what they felt was the best bits, and nobody bothered their ass to comment, so...
No, we did have a lot of contributions.
So you've got one of two options to that, either everything was fantastic or it was shit.
Well,
I'd probably go with the shit option, like that.
I mean, as long as we get a few laughs every week, that's all I'm looking for, to be honest, and that does me. But there will only be a Christmas special. We might get round to it eventually, but...
Next year.
Next Christmas pretty much. And we'll be more prepared, and then somebody else can help me fucking edit it.
What's the next big date? Burns night. Yeah, Burns night special.
Yeah, we should get some haggis then you actually have a proper night.
Haggis.
Start reading poems,
I'd rather eat my own arse than haggis.
You're welcome to eat your own arse, we'll eat haggis.
Well, you can eat haggis somewhere fucking else.
I had haggis, snipes and tatties for my dinner the other day, actually.
Well, that's disappointing.
Last Monday I had haggis and bonbons for the start of my meal.
This is the fucking foods are us. This is the angry fucking, what's his name? The guy for the Master Chef's not going to come in a minute. Just give a piece.
Chicken bun world.
Some nice Christmas dinner had some nice skinny sausages that's got bacon wrapped.
I do like them actually, but this is the fucking cooking time with Ann Robertson. Come on!
Pigs and blankets, it's chipolatas.
Is that no
you
chips?
Put bacon on. This is a blanket.
No, you sad child. A strange child.
The lights seem to be flickering. It's like somebody's had a good.
As Mark would say, hurricane hair hyperbole.
Mark's rage, innit?
Didn't he steal my line?
I said, as Mark would say, you got credit.
Yeah, still stole my line. And that's coming up later.
Might be due to the severe winds.
Severe winds. I lost another wheelie bin. Tell you, our broth ended up this time.
Really, I thought you were just.
I'm going to need to invest in a wheelie bin tracking system. Like my Toblerone tracking.
You tell me you're upgrading your Toblerone tracking system to deal with wheelie bins, and as you're talking about earlier, drugs.
Exactly. Anybody that's
Deeze's drugs empire.
That listened to the pre-show, which was live
stream.
Deeze's dodgy drugs.
I do alright without that, so I don't I'll bother investing.
When he says he does alright, he's not been arrested yet. But that's because he's not phoned up to book his appointment. Which is
I've not been stopped for speeding either. I'm just stick me down for a murder.
You have to have watched Road Wars to get that reference, which no much for.
Or listen to an earlier podcast.
Aye, a lot of these jokes go back quite a few weeks, but anyway, that's the point. That there's no Christmas special, no this Christmas anyway. So we basically took 2 weeks off. So if you're wondering why there wasn't a podcast on iTunes, firstly, if you're no subscribing on iTunes, why the fuck no? Go and subscribe on iTunes, and then you'll notice when you didn't get a podcast for 2 weeks, which was the last 2 weeks, Christmas and New Year. But we're back to our normal schedule. You can check the websites with upcoming guests, live shows, previous recordings, whatever. Because I've heard a few folks saying that they can only get the very last one on Facebook, which I don't know why, but then listen on you can listen on Facebook, but I would go to the website, which you'll get all the episodes and all the details.
They could get the very last one, the very last podcast.
I like the most recent one, the very last one we've done.
You should be able to.
Yeah.
Aye, which you can do if you go to your website, but I think Facebook only keeps the list of the last one. But I'm not sure. I didn't particularly enjoy Facebook for that.
I would have thought if you just went to the Markies Rants homepage and just scrolled down, you would have been able to get them all.
Well,
you can do that. That's fine.
Right, that's what I mean. If you go to your page, you should be able to get them there, which is no bother at all. That's markiesrants.com, by the way.
Nah, but I was talking about the page on Facebook. You go to that page because you post them all in there.
Well, I have done, but apparently you can only get the most recent one, which I didn't understand either. That's maybe...
I reckon that's just listen to the last one and no bother to listen to the rest and just tell you they couldn't get the rest.
It possibly could be a few morons, right enough. But we do like you to go to the website. You can comment there, and it helps us realise what we should be talking about next week, which nobody ever does. So it's just my random list of crap.
Now, what's on the agenda for the night?
Well, I'm not going to tell you right now because then you wouldn't listen all the way through. And I want you to listen all the way through because I've got several adverts for Toblerones, which are getting paid absolutely nothing for, so it's not so much an advert as
You
me
wait to
talking
find a
Toblerones.
Toblerone advert now.
I will. In fact, I'm going to contact the company. We didn't even care what company it is. It makes Toblerones.
I'm pretty sure a comedian's got a Toblerone joke. Who is it again?
Me.
It's not you.
I've got several Toblerone jokes.
Billy Connolly with a Toblerone if you've never heard the Toblerone joke from Billy Connolly, you'll pay to listen to it.
Right, on you go then, Craig.
I'm not going to even try.
You do
You
have...
could entertain us with one of your tumbleweed jokes.
Yeah.
I had one earlier, but you completely missed it.
Oh,
That's because
you wait to repeat it.
I've
then,
hoovered that
wasn't
getting here that I got rid of all the tumbleweeds.
Well,
Which I thought I would
there's the first
mention.
joke of the new year, Mark Hoover.
Never mind hoovered, I got the fucking floor polish out.
Oh, wait, because this is the first podcast of the new year. What was your New Year's resolution, Mark?
It was to be a wee bit nicer to people.
So we will be on a relative Mark scale, no a normal person scale. So
Well, to be honest, it went to the window at about 12:05. So, there we go.
to be honest, I didn't blame you.
Aye, that's because I mean I had morons in my house. What can you do? But be cruel to them, which they deserve. One last announcement before I go on to my random bullshit list. Coming up in February. Well, I'm saying February. It's because we need to leave enough time to plan.
So it'll be June.
Probably June. Yes. We're going to have the independence debate. Now, what we're looking for is a special guest to come on that's for the independence. So, get in contact with me personally if you're for Scottish independence. Don't waste your time. If you're no actually for it, don't bother. We need somebody. We've got enough people that are against it. We need somebody for independence to come on and debate. And you need to be quite loud too, because if you're quiet, it's not going to work.
I'd say you also need to be like half decently competent and all. We didn't just want you to sit there and shout independence every few seconds.
No, that's my job. I'm going to shout freedom pretty much. I'm going to be in the corner going freedom. That's me. That's my job. But coming up,
at least we have decently competent at it.
Aye, I'll be decently competent at shouting freedom. I mean, it's no hard.
You wonder
but
what we're entrusting the country to.
Me, I'd deport you. You're first on the list. Anyway, that's coming up. That is coming up in February. Check again the website that we mentioned before. Check that for the dates because we'll need to find out if we can get a guest and arrange it. But that'll be a special episode that's about independence, which is a big topic. Which, if you're wondering why it's not on the list to talk about tonight, it's been in the news a lot. But we're going to dedicate that to a whole entire week when I can get somebody else to back me up because
the podcast is going to be a week long.
Because I might go mental and just stab somebody.
So
maybe days of Mark shouting freedom.
We'll maybe hate to wait till we're on holiday for that week.
In fact, we could do a live episode for somebody's house. We'll just come round and shout freedom at your door.
That's what we do.
Aye, that's what we'll do.
Right, Days, it's your house for that night.
No, I've already did using my house for the podcast. Somebody else has done.
Every fucking week, and I need to lock the doors. That's all basically our welcome announcements. Like I say, welcome back 2012.
Welcome back 2012.
Welcome back to all
we missed you first time.
Shut up.
Has it been a holiday?
I've had 2 weeks off. I've been happy about it.
You Hamish in disguise, Benny Chan?
No, indeed I am not. Mr. Carr is not here quite yet. But
it's 2014 if I'm right.
It's 2012. I like
2013 to be fair.
I like 2012 because it's an even number. I think we should skip the odd years.
I thought you were going to talk about the film.
Year, right, where you'll get like say like you'll be able to do like your month to your year. Think about it, like 12, 12, 12, 11, 11.
Oh, right,
well, unless if any of us survive the next, well, get another 100 years with us, maybe I reckon I could go up to 119, 120.
You fucking bored me to death anyway. You never known till then. But no, I think we should just skip the odd years because they're odd. Just let's have even years. I reckon that's how it should work. I mean, 2009.
But
No.
you're a bit odd, but
Does that mean we can skip you on holidays? But
Oh, you're welcome to skip past my house at 37. Oh, wait a fuck! That'll be edited later. Thank you for that. Anybody
Don't worry,
listen-
no one will find it. No one can find
These-
it.
Nobody think,
Possible
nobody,
find.
to be
to
fair,
be fair, you've not got a number on the door, so
no, and nobody can, I mean, Andrew parked 4 streets away, and I gave
Yeah.
him Google Map directions and everything. I practically
Just
drove
scattered
far.
about random.
Did you just drive?
35, 12,
just look for
17.
Chloe's ass, put it on the window. You'll find it.
it's a lottery
I knocked at 2
numbers.
doors before I actually got hold of you.
You actually knocked from 2 doors and was like,
Well-
"Is Mark here?"
I originally actually just thought I was looking for 13. So, I was there was 12 and 14 across the road, so I went to the house opposite, knocked on the door, girl comes to the door, and she's like, oh, this isn't 13. 13's like miles away. It's
And,
like 2
and I'm
streets
no
away.
Mark.
Then I went, then I found 13.
I'm
Another
sure
woman
Mark
was like,
didn't
no,
have
Mark
tits the
doesn't
last
exist.
time I seen him.
Yeah,
I'm glad you agreed with
some
that.
sort of sixth sense, I think. Find this place.
You do. Either that or just
I was here fine the
keys.
first time.
That's when he says to me, it's round the front, so I was looking all the way around the front. No, it's actually at the back.
Well, what can I say? I'm a evil bastard.
We can tell.
I've got to be, because I deal with morons on a daily basis.
That's just you looking in the mirror.
I didn't have mirrors in
He's
here for
easily
that
amused.
specific purpose. So shut your hole. Anyway, first topic on my agenda is this fucking hellish weather that we're getting. Because I'm still losing wheelie bins left, right and centre. I actually lost a green one. Fife Council, and their credit, it's the only time I'll credit them, actually brought me another wheelie bin. Because it blew away.
With a number on it.
They did write the number on it. They think I'm fucking incompetent and I lost my What do you mean? They were all at the front because they were getting emptied and it was windy and they were obviously heavy enough to keep them for falling out. But what they did was emptied them and they left them in the middle of the street where they went, oh, woohoo, Arbroath we go. So,
They maybe just wanted to go up there for the football on Sunday.
Came back in.
well, that'd be entirely pointless because football is pointless. It's just kicking a ball about. My wheelie bin could probably play a better game than half the fucking retards on the pitch. They didn't even have proper names. There was the news was on earlier, and the setting name sounded like somebody in the news had sneezed.
Andre Villas Boas.
A Villas Boas, a chew. It sounded like somebody had bloody sneezed and that was the name. Either that or when it came up the name on the screen, it was like somebody had headbutted a keyboard.
That was Dolgopolov.
Dolgopolov. Oh, way you go. I mean, when you sign your contract with that as your name, I mean, you should.
To be fair, Dolgopolov is tennis.
Yeah.
I'm not caring if it's fucking for Uruguay, but
You're obsessed with Uruguay.
Oh, is the only vowel.
it has to. If they come in here and they're trying to sign a contract for a job or whatever, give them a Scottish name. Your legal Scottish name is now
Are
Frank.
you thinking bad bosses here by any chance? You can.
I'm thinking.
Or was it maybe?
Horrible bosses.
Or no, or was it maybe an episode Big Bang Theory when like Raj is like my brother such and such or Dave.
Aye,
AKA
for me,
Dave.
exactly. That's what should happen when they come in here.
Devo.
They need. They should just get a Scottish name. Right, you're no Obalogwa Gubalov or whatever anyway. You're now called Jimmy. That's your name. Carry on.
Well, no, I'll call Jimmy.
Well, no, but it would be random. We'd have some kind of random based name Scottish.
What do you
Reasonable
Jimmy Jock.
What do you plan on doing? Just getting them all there? Like, you're called Jimmy.
Well,
Here's
to
a
be
Jimmy
honest-
hat for you. Here's a kilt.
To be honest, I was
Here's
just.
a haggis for one hand, iron brew for the other hand.
I was just going to go through a dictionary. The first one that comes
Only
in,
one will
you're
do.
called Apple. Right?
Where does the racism stop with you, Mark?
It stops as soon as they've
Yeah,
deported all the
I'll
bastards.
give him points for effort.
I'll get rid of all the Scottish bastards.
Mark, what did you say your first name would be?
Well, I'll just go through a dictionary, random page. You're now called
Can I just say
Toblerone.
if you're starting at the top, it'll take the aardvark.
Oh, but I'm not starting at that.
You hate
Why would I
me.
start
I've
at
got to
that?
open it and find the page.
First letter's
That's
actually
your
A.
name.
Ah. First one dictionary.
I think the first letter's actually O because it's Oxford English Dictionary. So fuck is all.
That's on the cover, not inside.
I bet.
That's not inside the dictionary.
So who mentioned it opening the dictionary up? Right, the first.
You!
No, I
You
did.
said the first word inside the
First, yeah,
dictionary.
inside the dictionary.
I may have lied then. And to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't have a fucking dictionary. What am I going to do with a dictionary?
I
Do you
just
have a
did.
dictionary?
Apparently the zebra did it.
Mwah,
He
mwah,
does
mwah.
have a dictionary they got one for his Christmas.
How did you ken that?
Because you tell us.
No.
Because as you said, I managed to prove somebody wrong with the dictionary twice.
I did twice, and I hope she doesn't listen or I'll get my balls chopped off.
Use that with a pizza knife, the backup pizza knife, or your backup.
I think she'll just use her hands, to be honest with you.
That's harsh.
Anyway.
Seems as though you'd enjoy that, Mark.
Oh, for about 50 minutes or something, but I mean, after that, it's a bit of an inconvenience. It was fun to start with, I mean, but after that, it's just inconveniencing me. Anyway.
I love how Andrew's giving this some deep thought. He's just sitting there going, what would this be like?
Well, I mean, he's
Hey, Mark,
He's sitting there thinking,
in the few seconds I can actually squeeze a word in, past Mark. You know, I want it to be good. I want it to be worthwhile. Something memorable.
You just take talk out of everybody, that's all I do.
There's the trick.
The trick's basically just, when it comes into your head, just fucking say it. Shout it. Aye. It's less of a trick and Mary just didn't talk. Anyway. That was my rant about Five Council for the week. I'm sure I'll come up with more.
didn't last long.
It didn't, because to be fair, they do get credit. I mean, the fucking idiots did cause the bin to blow away. It really did fly away down the street.
The idiots caused the bin to blow away. They controlled the wind and made the wind blow away your bin.
No, but they emptied it and left it in the middle of the street. Which
what bastards,
I remember last year trying to, shovel my way through mounds of
Aye.
snow.
No.
There's nothing like that. This has been a great winter.
Tried delivering papers in the weather last year. That was hell on earth. Right. But no, seriously, tried delivering papers.
Why deliver papers? I didn't even buy a paper. I didn't even read the paper myself.
Well, can you didn't do that, Mark?
It's because they're all shite. It's the same.
To do that.
All the stories on the front page. Oh, Debbie's got new boobs. Oh, smashing. Look on page 3 for the new boobs.
Mark,
Fantastic.
I didn't buy it. You got yourself a new pair of kits for
Actually,
Christmas.
page 3 has got a strict no implants policy.
Oh, have they new? Oh.
I know this.
See,
I've got that one, boys.
How did you find that one?
I've just made this off the top of my head because I didn't buy papers.
Oh, I'm saying that if you've got them for France, you're screwed. Or for the French company.
Where am I
Well,
going?
no, technically no.
No, sorry, but you took the piss at me for saying that somebody'd come from Glasgow to do their shopping, but you're going to go to France to get the fucking Daily Mail.
No, some folk have been getting like breast implants in this French
Oh, bounce
country.
to France, no
The
papers.
regulations are less strict over in Europe, so
Is that because they're
more
ugly?
people are allowed to do it, therefore they charge less money, so it's cheaper
And
to
they were
get forward.
literally using like
implants.
mattress grade silicone, like
Yeah.
literally shit
To
stuff.
be honest with you, I'm no planning on getting boob implants, so I'm not really fussy.
Aye.
I would pay good money to see.
Your tit just might bust. That's the worst case scenario.
Yes.
No, I think it was cancer was the worst case scenario actually.
Aye, they're talking about it could lead to cancer, but I think everything leads to cancer.
Apart from the
Just-
stuff that doesn't lead to
Cancer
cancer.
leads to death, so I think death.
Aye.
Worse
but we're all
situation,
screwed.
Death.
You should.
We've all got cancer, haven't we? Everybody has cancerous cells.
Are you sure?
Aye.
Because I'm sure I'm no deed.
No, everybody
Hey,
has
you can
cancerous
get
cells,
money,
Matt. It doesn't kill you.
Good question for old Gilbert at the weekend. Does a bear know it's a bear? I mean, does it just think, oh, I'm shitting in the wood a lot more than everybody else? That was Rod Gilbert's
Oh,
quote.
it's perfect because we caught a bear. I mean, I think it's a bear. I mean, I think it's.
But a bear, how would a bear ken it's a bear? Maybe it just thinks
Maybe a
it's
bear doesn't think it's a bear. Maybe a
That
bear
was-
thinks
that was
it's
the
an
debate.
It
elephant.
wouldn't call itself a bear. It doesn't speak English.
Exactly. So
Hell
how,
bear.
Therefore, so it doesn't think it's a bear. It thinks it's something, but not a bear.
so does a bear know it's a bear? Or does it think it's like everybody else? Does it think it's a giraffe?
Does a cow think it's a cow?
Because bears and giraffe mix quite often. at the zoo social club.
Yes, you see, the thing was they were like quite close at one point. Then you can continent drifting.
Had an argument, drifted apart.
Yeah,
Well, the giraffe's a bit taller.
long and strange cousins you can. The bear was wringing its neck for that long.
I forgot what the topic was. I just come up with Rod Gilbert. We're going to see Rod Gilbert in August.
Have we?
Well, oh, I'm going. I think if you're going, I'm going. Mr. Lane's going. Mr. Rod Gilbert in August. You can't beat Rod Gilbert. Togs and such like.
What is a tog?
What is a tog?
I did see that status on Facebook the other night, and I said it in a Welsh accent, and I was like, why did I say it in a Welsh accent? Then it clicked. It was Rod Gilbert.
Rod Gilbert, you can't beat. Anyway, this is not an advert for Rod Gilbert. For fuck's sake, Craig.
I think you're going to name every other comedian in the world now.
Nah.
Yeah, there are other comedians out there.
There are, but I prefer Rod Gilbert.
Mark just likes Welsh folk in general.
That's not getting brought up here either. You need to watch the lines, no cross them. We've got plans for the SNP to solve trains that I didn't really care much about, but Mr. D's here will tell us.
Oh, what it basically is their plan to solve overcrowding at peak times is to reduce train capacity and increase fares. That's a great policy for the SNP.
Wait, say that again. That doesn't make sense.
Aye,
That's the whole point.
to combat overcrowding on trains at peak times are going to reduce capacity and increase fares.
Well, I see how they increase fares because less folk could afford it.
That's it.
But let's have less trains so there'll be.
Or less carriages on the trains.
The reason it's a peak time is because loads of folk use the train to get to their work.
I mean, the
And
SNP
etc.
are as well coming out with saying to reduce time on the trains, we're just going to get flying giraffes to take folk from station to station. I mean, what kind of where does this come from? How can you possibly?
I don't think the SNP have ever said anything about flying giraffes.
Is this part of their independence manifesto?
Yes, but that's just as credible as saying, oh well, to get less crowd in, we'll have less carriages. It's the exact opposite of the situation.
The SNP for you. I mean, credibility is always under question.
It all
No,
starts
it's
at
not.
half
The
of
credibility is no in question. They've got a
Well, they've only got
majority.
one thing. How do we get independence? Once they get independence, they're going to be like,
What do we do?
Once I become King of Scotland, I'm deporting the fucking lot of yous.
King of Scotland?
Yes.
No, this would be a constitution.
So it's a new position that you're making up.
No, I'll be the King of Scotland. You wait. I'm telling you. One of these days.
Scotland's not currently got a king.
No, that's because we're not independent. Give it time.
So is this your plan to get our own royal family started up?
No,
and
no, no.
become
I'm
independent?
not in a royal family. It's just me.
Margaret Jenner.
No, but you have to be.
That's bad.
You have a family, so when you're
Right,
king,
wedding.
the rest of your family are technically the royal family.
No,
I'm sorry, Mark, you're screwed.
no, it's just me, and that'll
That's
just
Fiona.
be.
Mind you, I can see you being the last king of Scotland.
I'd be the first, the last, the everything king. I'd be fucking amazing. Just deport all the arseholes, no bother at
We've
all.
already got a Burger King, so we might as well have an everything king.
What the fuck did you post on my Facebook?
I did nothing of the sort here, boy.
I never posted
Somebody's
anything.
posted that on my.
Do you want to read it out? What's
No,
the-
I do not want to read it out,
Yeah.
and I want to find out how to delete it.
What is it actually? Tell us.
No, I will
Can't
not.
believe
But
she
some
did that.
stupid bastard has posted on my Facebook some that they shouldn't have.
I'm sure I've committed it to memory. If you'd want me to share it.
No, I'm sure you should not commit it to memory or say it.
What
You really should
was it
share
like?
this.
No, move on. Talk about the trains while I fix this. You bunch of
I'm
arsehole.
intrigued with this. What's happened?
No.
I mean, it's saying that with the trains. I mean, come on, it'd be just what is like Hornby. Is that the train company?
See
Yeah,
if
no, there's
if
probably
you'd been
another
sensible,
Aye,
Mark,
well,
you would have
it'd
just
be just
no
for
said
the
nothing and
SNP
just
to go, you know
deleted
what?
it.
We're replacing all our trains with Hornby trains. That's how we will reduce.
I
congestion.
want faces on the front. I want Thomas Tank Engine. I want Ringo Starr narrating my journey.
Well, that's not going to happen. Yeah,
I know. Still dream.
You can.
Ringo Starr in front of a train.
You'll be in front of a train if I find out who posted on my
You should just
Facebook.
strut the SNP folk to the front of the trains.
I'm interested to see what it was.
Aye, come on, share it with us.
No, it's deleted forever and it'll be gone for your memory as well because I'm going to hit you on the head with a ball.
Just tell us when we've stopped recording.
Yeah.
That'll be right. Yeah, so trains. We're saying the SNP's plan for trains isn't the most credible.
Just like the rest of their plans.
No, the rest of their plans are fine when I become the king of Scotland.
Joining the Euro.
So they're
Because
only
that's
fine
the
when you become
superb
King of
idea.
Scotland. So if you didn't become the King of Scotland, they're therefore not fine.
What do you mean that I'll not become king of Scotland? That's not for debate. I'm going to be king of Scotland. That's not optional. It's just
It's just perfect
it's
option.
inevitable.
I do want to destroy your dream, but if you just go around calling yourself the King of Scotland, it's not going to take off. Folk are just going to go, oh, he must be the King of Scotland because he says so.
And saying that, just change his name legally. First name King, middle name of, second, last name Scotland.
Right, and
He's King of Scotland.
then I just start deporting folk.
Hopefully
and
he'll
I'll
do
be
better than the
fine.
last King of Scotland. Good you mean?
I'd be
Got killed in
fine.
that film, didn't he?
Although in saying that, he might be on March caliber. You never know.
I'd be amazing. I'd just get rid of all the arseholes. That's our major
You see what I
problem.
mean? He'd be on the same level.
I'd get rid of all the arseholes.
Mark, do you have any idea who we're talking about?
You're going first at that point because you're talking about pish that I understand and you're aware that I understand it and you're still going with it. So I'm going to move on to some other shit, which is
Another shit.
Big Brother's back.
Oh hell.
Deary, deary, dear.
No comment.
No
You
comment.
just shoot them off. Flood the house.
It's Channel 4 now, is it? Or Channel 5?
Channel 5, that was
Does
it.
anyone
I
actually-
mean,
does
Channel
anyone
5,
actually
we've
watch that
talked
channel
about this
anyway?
before, exactly.
Does it?
Channel 5 should be just.
Man United fans.
Channel
so
5.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Channel
And
5.
Man City.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Can't leave them out.
Channel 5 should be a placeholder to take you to Channel 6. Right? So when you go up the channels, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, you hit the next, and it goes 5 quickly, then jumps you to 6.
No,
'cause there's
surely
no
you've
one
just,
five.
Flashed up,
you've
sorry,
just
do you mean
changed Channel
six?
5 to
Redirect.
something else. some
No.
more
Why would you
significant.
just have all Channel 6's programming on Channel 5?
Like just say 1, 2.
you wouldn't need it.
Because
No.
then you've got channel.
Because that would
still
make
there.
sense.
Just get BBC
No.
1, BBC 2, STV, Channel 4, Dave, and I think
Dave.
Channel
No,
6
no, no.
is
Channel
Sky
fi-
1, depending
Channel
on what
5
you're on.
No,
Channel
Channel
7 is
5.
BBC 3.
Wait a minute.
Depends what you're on,
Or
like.
BBC
Oh, yeah.
4, depending.
Channel 5 still has to be there because it's a placeholder, right? Because a lot of morons will still go to Channel 5 thinking, oh, I'm going to watch.
I'm going to watch that film it was on.
Next
Aye,
question is, how did you come up on Channel 5?
because
It's
Daniel,
all other films, every time it's a film it's on Channel 5, that's it, and Big Brother now.
and that's a lot of shit.
No, the
It's
shit
like-
films
is it
probably
even
got-
celebrities have got in Big Brother? I mean, come on, it's supposed to be like
Well,
what?
there's not got a King of Scotland, so it's not that good.
It's like non-entity Big Brother.
Aye, but
like
it's always the
Brad
same.
Pitt's cousin's dentist's wife, you know,
Yes.
something rubbish.
And some kid that got kicked at X Factor for taking drugs. Yes, because
Yes.
you're a
The thing
celebrity.
is, he's the most famous one of them, if anything.
I've no idea who's even.
That's just because it's more recent.
There's some guy called Romeo. I mean,
Well, that's
I know
clearly
I know
a
it was
stupid
play
name.
About 400 years ago.
Jesus, he's doing well for his age, isn't it?
Who else is there?
I would tell
there's
there's
so
something
many
to
other
do
ones.
with
There's
there's
Ice and things kicked off as well.
Playboy twins or
There's
something.
Playboy Twins.
Oh, I'd watch it for that. Sorry. They could put Mr. Blobby in
The
there.
the
and
thing is, you can with these shows, you don't need to watch them because you find out for everybody else
Oh,
what
yeah,
happens
there's,
anyway.
the Ryan Giggs' brother's wife, the one he slept with, she's in there on the account of the fact she slept with Ryan Giggs. That's her claim to fame.
Surely Ryan Giggs should have been for that reason.
He's still playing football.
Well, some people say he still plays football. He stands on pitch.
I will noticed the other day.
I didn't even get
Paul
to that.
Scholes.
I take it you're not a Manchester United fan then.
No, I just can't stand Man United fans. They're like rats. You're never more than 5 feet away from them.
I have to live with one.
Anyways, you wouldn't have heard from them for ages, but now they've won that game there. That's it. They'll be all
Well,
back
saying
out.
that, it was an incredibly close game.
Yeah, say we're robbed. Never a red card.
I'll just get us back
Mark
on.
powering over the court.
I'll just get us back on track to something that I care about, which is opposite way.
No,
Aye.
because of the SNP
Aye, Scottish
rules,
football.
the track's not getting laid. Sorry, so we're being diverted into football.
Football's pish. That's we're not going to divert anywhere near football.
Could be worse, could be talking about fucking rugby.
Oi.
To be honest, sports
It could
in
be
general,
worse, it could be in
pointless.
Paisley.
Shite.
Pointless.
Nah,
Anyway.
Paisley's just Paisley.
Aye, Paisley. Did you ken that Gerard Butler guy was for Paisley?
Aye.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Jesus, I didn't ken. I seen the advert on the telly.
He's a Celtic supporter and all, which says an awful lot.
It says he supports Celtic, I
Is
suppose.
this
It
one
was
of
quite good as a
those
fan-
famous
got
celebrity fans who don't actually ever go to games?
Billy
Aye.
Connolly supports Celtic, does he know?
Aye.
There you go.
I've
Smashing.
seen aye, but
Anyway, who gives a fuck about football? My main point was Big Brother's back, which is
Who gives a fuck about Big Brother?
Well,
me.
I think 80%
I'm
of us
like
care about
insulting
football
it.
here.
I really don't. I
But-
really
But
No?
but when I'm in
60.
when I'm in the minority is the majority. So
So
shut
it's
up.
We'll go outside,
It's
Steve.
like-
We'll have another
It's
chat.
like what,
Aye.
46 split.
You just could happily leave and shut the fuck up about football. But
Oh, the wallpaper sticks to the wall.
it does. That's why it's wallpaper. It wouldn't be fucking wallpaper then. It'd be a bit paper that you've put on the wall that fell off.
The famous Hamish Carr quote is wallpaper sticky?
Aye, that is when it first goes on, and it sticks to the wall, and it's called wallpaper. That's how the world
Self-adhesive
works.
wallpaper. That's what. You need.
Unless you've painted
Never
the
mind
wall, in
what
which
about-
case
Well, what you need
you've
is-
got a
right.
wall painted.
Double-sided sticky wallpaper.
Jesus.
Stick you the fucking wall.
That's what I
Jesus.
said, Bruce.
What I need
I
to do
wasn't
is
listening
put
to
you in the wheelie
You
bin.
weren't talking loud enough. You need to talk to the group, Craig. The group, not just Daniel. I think you're sharing the mic, but that doesn't mean you need to share everything. Right?
I think Daniel's look like you really did it, shit everything.
First of me hearing about it, I know. It's alright.
Anyway,
Share
back
with
to
the
my
group.
point, which is the one that's relevant to me anyway.
Big Brother's no relevant.
Big Brother's shit. But
Exactly.
my main point is
Why
disappointingly.
are we
all of-
advertising it?
Because I want to get on to my next point, but you only shut the fuck up and let me get there. So just
Do you know how much they're being paid to be in Big Brother? I mean, you think 100,000 people watch Channel 5.
I think publicity.
Right.
They get paid in publicity.
Apparently, the guy from Blue, it's one of the singers from Blue, was offered £300,000 to go into the house.
Just to go aye.
I wouldn't know for
Oh, yeah.
like
And
£3,000 to jump off a cliff.
He wanted more, so they knocked him back and got a Romeo. The
You can't-
household name.
Yeah, you came out. I've got to love right. Is the fact that these celebrities go in there for like what 20 days or something
Yeah,
like
a couple of days.
and like the folk that actually go in there for the proper Big Brother it's still shit, but they're in there for like what 10 weeks
Well,
2
yeah,
weeks,
definitely.
and like so and they're like pretty much killing themselves in there, can bang their heads off the wall. It's quite amusing at that stage.
Aye,
Um,
it's shit anyway.
But
But it's
and they're
not
like,
what
and then the
I
celebrities complain because they didn't get X, Y, and Z. It's like, come on, you're going to the house to be cut off for everything. So I complain.
Yeah,
It's your choice.
you get paid for it.
It's the same when like when they go to the I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
Yeah.
people are shit scared of bugs, so they go to that and then they scream for the duration of the show. What is the point?
You get what you're going into, so.
The celebrities probably don't even want to go in. It's just their agents on the phone saying, "Look, you're doing shit. I've got no offers for you. Get in the jungle, eat some spiders."
Thing is, that is probably what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Mark, expect your phone to ring any minute.
I'm no celebrity. I'm the king.
Well, you seen the celebrities are supposed to go in there. I mean,
I'm the
they're
king.
same
To be
weight.
fair, you probably would get in.
Uh,
You just need to hope that one of the producers listens to the podcast and you bin.
That'd be great on telly. Could you imagine?
You could be the new Chantel.
Okay, that is, but that'd be amazing on telly. Anyway, Big
Nice
Brother
Chantel.
and all that reality TV's a lot of pish. But I was quite disappointed with Christmas and New Year telly in general. There was hee-haw much on, to be honest with you.
Bang wins on Christmas Day. I noticed that.
It's all about repeats. That's what it is.
Now, it depends on what.
Films and repeats.
Honestly, I was working that much. I never actually got a chance to sit and watch.
You
Telly was
never
rubbish.
miss much.
I was
Okay, still.
most disappointed was watching Jackie Bird, as always, a New Year, and right after midnight, yeah, he was get Old Lang Syne coming on, and you get everybody,
The boy was shit.
and you get everybody singing along. But no, this guy decides to do some kind of fucking Jars rendition version of it, and you gotta sing along.
Does Jackie Bird actually have any other job? Does she just hibernate? Does she just
Yeah, the
hibernate
news.
for like
The
360
news.
days?
Aye, but Big Jackie's on the news.
She is.
Occasionally.
Auntie Jackie,
Big Jackie.
as the boy said.
Can he beat her? And or Phil and Ali,
Phil,
you've
right.
got them, Big Phil on the telly. Yibbers on for hours, plays his music, very good Phil. We'll see you next year.
Shitey guy.
And then they always show a clip of him for about 20 years ago as well.
No,
Just in case anybody doesn't recognise him.
See, Admiral Farlow were quite good. Did you see them?
Nah,
They were the
to be honest,
one
we,
band that was on the quite
we,
good.
we turned. Well, was that rage that the Old Lang Syne version that we just turned it off after that?
I know, like, 'cause they were on before that. and then we got after it.
But
But they were quite good. I mean, I've had their album
Okay.
for got in May, so they're quite good. Like.
The only thing I look forward to be New
I was
Year
just waiting on
TV's
that.
only an excuse.
Oh, that was good. Although we
Yeah.
didn't actually watch it till like the next day because folk were in the shop. In particular, Christy Dure and Jenna McKenna. Which we didn't normally give mentions, but since it interrupted, only an excuse. I think it's
Right.
it's safe to blame them.
This is the podcast New Year resolution. No mentions, right?
This specifically
No
goes to one person
mentions.
in particular.
Well, no, it doesn't no new after they just mentioned two folk.
But that was simply to blame them for something.
Aye. But no mentions unless I've came up with a valid point that we're going to discuss about.
Well, my valid point was that
No,
only an
no.
excuse is good. And
You
they
didn't-
ruined it.
You-
So I had to watch it the next day.
Yeah, it was quite funny sitting watching on it because I was never here for a time. But when you're sitting watching it and folk didn't understand what's going on with it, and they're sitting there like, "What? I didn't get this."
Well, what
Yeah.
fuck are you watching it with? It's so fucking amazing. I don't even like football. I can what's going on.
Ah, exactly.
We had an American guy with us where we were celebrating New Year's, and he just didn't have a clue what was going on. Who's that? Is that Alex Ferguson? Next one. Is that Alex Ferguson?
You should have just tell me aye. They're all Alex fucking Ferguson.
Alex Ferguson.
He's
There's
an
no
American,
no
what do you
jube
expect?
jubes.
That was good. Oh, that was good. Oh, Dave, you can't beat that. I wish that they need to bring Still Game back though.
Nah,
Oh,
definitely
definitely.
still.
They've got to make up.
Oh, it's
I
been
think they
rumoured
have.
for a while.
I thought they
Have
did.
they actually
I thought that's
reconciled?
why they came back the first time.
I heard that
Because
they're
they're
doing
made
Chewing the Fat. They're going to do more of them. Or they're going
Oh,
to
I
do a
don't
special
know.
or something.
Well, I hope so.
Anyway, it's the bonus if they do come
It's a
back.
step in the right direction, anyway.
Alright, I mean,
I'm just getting a V to mediate.
if the Christmas special had come out, you would have heard us singing all the Still Game songs.
We'll just release that in CD.
So be thankful for your hearing that it never came out.
No, not at all. It was a good.
podcast album.
Aye, it will be.
Well, then I say, see if Cher Lloyd could get singles sold. Me and Mark could.
If Cher Lloyd can get a single sold, my fucking hamster could get an
Do you
album.
think your producing skills, your managerial skills could take that, Daniel?
No.
Try to get them to sell.
That'd be
Just
a
put-
fringe or
You
something.
basically put it on
I was going to
iTunes
say I'd
and
be the
that's it.
accountant, but I was getting somebody decent to do it.
Ah, you've got a good
Andrew.
point there. Once you're
I
working
said
with-
somebody decent.
Alright.
You've been awfully quiet, Andrew, it must be said. You need to shout a bit more.
Okay.
Definitely you know the other Andrew, he's
I'll bear that
fucking
in
loud enough.
You want me to tone it down a bit?
You definitely need to be toned down a bit.
Is that better?
No, really. Just take fucking mute you all together and that'll do. Aye, but I was disappointed with the New Year's telly because
Just broom.
that's a highlight of the night. Getting pissed and singing Old Lang Syne with everybody. You
Did
couldn't
you
do
get
it.
pissed?
Aye, getting pissed.
No
Aye,
particularly.
haying half a boat with Budweiser, leaving it for 8 hours. Then open up a boat with Coors and half of that.
Well,
Coors
to be,
Light,
to
mate,
be
aye.
fair, to be fair, the other half it went up my nose.
Okay, some people
Look at how my
some people snort cocaine. Mark snorts.
No, I didn't.
Budweiser.
I didn't snort it. I think what the fuck I managed it. This was like 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, it wasn't.
These,
Aye,
you've been
that's
selling
'cause
your
it was-
drugs to Mark again? Or was it, were you just doing
Why-
that night you had
I-
to
No,
why
just
did-
slipped
why do you
it.
feel
Just
that-
slipped in his
Right.
Budweiser.
I'm allowed to talk over you. You're definitely not allowed to talk over me. That's how this works.
No.
Earlier you were
Um,
telling me to talk over the top of you.
I can.
You're alright,
You've
'cause
got
you're
to stop
quiet.
jumping backwards and
No,
forwards.
you're fine. You're quiet. They're annoying.
You're
And I-
misleading
We're
I've
not
said that
annoying.
before.
Craig, are we annoying?
No, we're not annoying.
Exactly.
Just the
Well-
fact that you think that you're not annoying is annoying.
You leave Sunny D's
2 to
alone.
1, Mark. You're out
Just the fact that you think you're not annoying. It's pretty annoying.
I know I'm annoying. I'm aware of it. I'm an annoying bastard. I'm a self-aware annoying bastard.
So
That's
therefore,
what
you're
I'm on.
annoying.
Right,
And
this
you're not.
this is called Markies Rants for a reason. Because I rant about stuff. And my name's
So
Mark.
you can say he did the explicit version of Marky's pants, but
Oh, your day job, you bastard.
that is my day job.
Being a bastard, you're quite correct. I've completely forgot my point because you jibbered over me again. But
I didn't get it with these.
it's about the only thing. Aye, but it was about 8 o'clock because you were just leaving after that film that I wanted to watch and didn't watch.
Aye, the one I'd seen the last 20 minutes in.
Aye, and I made him watch the whole thing again while I fell asleep or something. Or I tried to drink this, whatever it was, like, I had random shit and it went up my nose.
You were on Craig's porn on your computer.
Why does
What?
Craig have porn on my computer?
Well, Craig's always on porn.
That's that's true. Anytime he's not got the laptop the night.
Porn stars, that he keeps playing that
You had a
game all
special
the
guest
time.
friend as well though. That would have distracted you. Obviously.
Really?
Discussing upcoming nuptials.
5 o'clock she left, eh?
Last year we had the royal wedding. This year it's Shrek and Fiona.
You get married. Congratulations.
Do you know kind of sharing wedding, son?
No, I'll
Beauty and the Beast.
never get married.
No, in saying that, no.
Nah.
Beast and Beast.
Well, that could be 2 totally different weddings.
You should also be careful because I've got knives and the door keys.
Beast and Beast.
Spins.
Beast and Beast here. That's Beast.
Well, you better be careful because you're starting to annoy me now. Be taking it too far. And also
Aye,
post
you've
on
entered,
Facebook.
you've crossed the line
Aye,
there,
there's a
Craig.
line and
It's
you've
got to be
crossed
done.
it.
We can't even reach you now.
I'll soon will with my fucking razor blades. Anyway,
Your Toblerone track system.
it could be modified to track you.
No, we've planted a Toblerone on Craig.
Or his person and I'll just track him. Very good.
You better hope I didn't cross paths with somebody else who's got a topper on
Was
her.
actually, so we probably should have talked about this, but there was a boy one time we were heading up to Inverness. And basically what happened is there's some guy when he went in a shop, was like a Co-op or a Sainsbury's or whatever, he went in the shop and he was giving him grief, so he slipped a Mars bar into his pocket while he was taking he had a 24 pack of beer, and he was coming out and just said, look, I think that boy's shoplifting, so the boy got done for stealing a Mars bar and he got out with the 24 cans, never even paid for them.
Fantastic.
Anyway, that's my unrelated
Yeah, I've seen that
story.
done before actually. The shoplifter puts product in some stranger's pocket. They go out, the alarms go off, and then while the alarm's going off, they just walk out with whatever they steal.
Speaking from experience,
Well,
Mr. Heath.
I can't admit to anything.
Sorry,
Marky,
nobody
shit.
listens
The
to
legal
this.
implications of that.
Nobody
I would
listens to
advise
this.
not to.
With half the shit he says, he'd be arrested if
Aye.
anybody listened to it, so...
Yeah, you'd be up there with cat in the bin woman and tram lady.
I'm happy to be controversial.
No, Mark's no cat in the... No, Mark. No, he's...
I'm
wouldn't he be up there with cat
person in the bin.
He is person in the bin man.
Craig in the bin.
Aye, definitely. But to be honest,
Or these, depending.
You've still to do the podcast live for the Broom Bin.
I've got stuff in it now though. Hey, wait till you
When
say
it's
it.
empty, bring
just-
it up here and I'll do it.
Who's in it?
Up here, you can
Who's
go
in
down
it? The
there.
new, like...
No.
Davey. Anyway,
Per Davy.
on the topic of these having drugs, £34,000 worth of it has been seized in Edinburgh. A lot.
None of it mine.
He's quite happy about that. fact he's
See,
drugged
that seems
empires on tap.
over defensive to me.
That's guilty, that.
No, I just said none of it's mine.
It seems
That isn't
over
a lot, though, is it?
defensive.
£34,000. That's nothing,
that
really.
is quite a small haul.
But I mean, still £34,000 is no nothing.
It's, in terms of drug busts, it's pretty
Yeah.
small.
Says Craig,
I mean,
the
like-
drug dealer.
HMS Manchester took $500,000 last year or the year before
Aye,
in the
but
Caribbean.
for a wee place in Edinburgh, £34,000 worth of drugs isn't a personal stash. It's clearly they've got
Have you
somebody's
been in meth
supply.
lately?
To be fair, they just caught that. They couldn't get the £500,000 worth of marijuana in the attic. So
That's right.
Well, I thought
And
that.
saying that Edinburgh Council saying to get awfully desperate to fund the trams these days, so you can go into all measures. Even every little helps them, you can.
Well, they could take as long as they want because I think the bridge has got to be done first, and I've made that position clear. But there's been most of the news that's been rubbish, and it's mostly come from Edinburgh. I mean, there's been a guy got unprovoked, was slapped on the head, and it was an unprovoked attack. An unprovoked attack.
There we
He got whacked on the head.
Do you know where he was from? What his nationality was?
What are they kidding?
Because if you're English, that just happens anywhere.
It should, as it should.
That's it. That's just the way it goes.
If you're not
it's
Scottish,
just anywhere in general, just Scotland.
you should be whacked and deported. That's how it works.
One way to go right now.
It's the only way to go. If you ask
I feel slightly less welcome now.
from I'm not even gonna comment on that. You're very welcome to come round and be harassed. It's fine. You have listened to this before. You did ken what was in order here.
Briefly.
Briefly. Cheers for that.
Listen to
I've
it.
heard your
Listen
theme
to
tune
it
and
for
that's
a,
about it,
for,
really.
a, for a couple of minutes.
You
Yeah.
listen to the introduction and that's it.
Yeah. When your voice starts, I just sort of...
Switch
I don't
off.
cut it off, I just kind of fall asleep.
Well, that's why you were on about this, because I fall asleep too.
Yeah, well, your mind does wander.
It does. Usually at Toblerones. So
Boy's got an obsession.
I love Toblerones.
Have you not got Toblerone in the kitchen?
I've got 3 Toblerones.
I'm waiting for the penguin-shaped Toblerone.
Well, I have
Do you know
2
how difficult that would be to produce?
I have 2.
I
Can
know.
you imagine the sort of
Well, no, it wouldn't be
moulds that you'd need?
It wouldn't be a Toblerone then, because a
Just-
Toblerone's triangle.
That's not a Toblerone, that's a lint product.
Ah, but it is the same way.
What I have
Chocolate
got,
is a
If one is
Toblerone.
Toblerone,
I have got 2
Yeah.
Toblerones wrapped in penguin paper.
An aggressive takeover
So,
by Toblerone of lint.
that's the closest you can get.
Using the little triangles.
Yeah, I do. I'll show you. It's in the
You
kitchen.
know,
I've
you
got
see
2
like
Toblerones
Swiss
wrapped in
penguins
penguin
coming
paper. It's a Christmas present. I just
Swiss
can't.
chocolate penguins.
I can't-
Okay, Christmas present to you, intercept it for somebody else.
No. I was given the 2 Toblerones as a Christmas present, and they were wrapped in penguin paper. And the reason I've not in the wrap them off yet is
Did
because
you know,
it's penguin paper.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you not get a penguin for Christmas?
I did indeed get a penguin for Christmas.
Mark sleeps with this penguin, I'll have you know.
No, I'll have you know, didn't he?
You said
Keep,
you know
keep,
you've got
keep,
water penguin.
keep,
Is that
some
code name for
cozy.
someone?
This is hot water
No,
penguin.
he's actually got a hot water bottle. It's a penguin.
No.
It's no nickname
Wait,
for.
when they call her, it's penguin.
No.
And
Floozy.
that really has been banned, so I really wish you wouldn't bring it up because it's starting
What's
to annoy
been
me.
banned?
Mentioning that.
Mentioning
You're
penguins.
you're well aware of what I'm talking about.
That's
So
Mr. D's, that is a
so-
line.
move on.
And
What?
you're sitting beside me.
I
Talk-
might have
talk
guessed
about
Andrew's
penguins.
the main
Hold on.
culprit of this planet.
He's crossed the line now.
Daniel, what you doing here?
Ken,
You said something earlier in the week, it's fine.
I'm just resident here, that.
You live beyond the line.
Yes.
Daniel's just there to keep you in check. Punch you right in the nose if you piss him off.
Boof me.
Boof, yeah, exactly.
Daniel was actually the one that gives us all the ideas. He tells us what to say to you. He's the
I
mastermind.
don't believe it for a second. I don't believe it.
It's like Ross that time.
Aye.
I never believed that. It's definitely used. Anyway, we're going to move on to another story. Well, this is Andrew's story about Diane Abbott, the MP racist,
You
and
bastard,
she's
that was my
from
story.
she's from Hackney North and Stoke Newington.
Because that's the
Yeah.
important part
That's
of the story.
that's the important part because it's a stupid place. How can you be Hackney North and Stoke Newington?
Now, before
Surely
we go any
you-
further, Mark, I did ask you earlier, can you please tell me what's on the lineup? Because it's entirely possible you might have hit across my
And
point.
That's why
Wait a
I
minute, wait.
asked you what
Okay,
your point
wait,
was,
wait.
because I had a feeling
Wait a
it was
minute.
going to be that.
let me direct.
No, wait a
Let me
minute,
directly
no,
respond to that.
no. Well, I'm already covering your point, Mark, what you're going to
No,
say.
I want to
Basically,
directly
they're going
respond
to
to
rage
it.
at-
Right, on you go then, on you go. Floor's yours.
Aye, you did ask me, and as any question does get, you got an answer. No, I'm not telling you what's on the list.
Because the chances of me doing it are slim to none. This is my point. That-
Aye, you
Oh,
did
wait,
say that.
Andrews came up with it.
Well,
I'll
Andrew's
give up
come up
first.
with it.
No, it's okay. You
Technically,
can,
you-
you can have this one,
Craig,
Craig.
you're the guest.
You just need to think of another point,
Thank
Craig.
you. That's very nice of you.
To be honest, I couldn't care less as long as
No,
somebody
okay.
talks about it because I've no idea what she's
We can,
done.
then say we might have opposite
Yeah,
votes, so we can make it.
controversial MP. She's been kicking about for a few years now. She's black. That's the biggest part of it.
That's how she's
So
controversial. They're allowed to.
She's been in the news in the last couple of days for 2 racist tweets.
But she's black. How can you be a black
It's-
racist?
Well, that's the
Racism
point.
works both ways, by the way.
You see,
Believe it or not, Mark.
Ah,
with things like Luis Suarez and so on, racism has been massive at the minute.
Did you know that Ferdinand, you know which one?
Yeah,
John
John Terry
Terry.
and Anthony
Anthony.
Ferdinand.
Yeah.
But the idea of someone of another nationality being racist towards the indigenous species of the indigenous people.
that
of
sounds
our
racist. You're getting
country,
deported.
You know,
Deported. Your orders are signed.
our first tweet was what was it again?
They like to is this your divide and rule?
Yeah, she posted on Twitter. White people are dividing and conquering or
Aye,
something.
they like to divide and rule.
Like to
and
divide
then
and
she
rule,
actually used
yeah.
the hashtag.
She's a fucking MP though.
Shut up and listen.
No,
You're-
how could you
you're-
possibly say that white people are trying to
Okay.
rule? She's an MP.
Again,
She should be
but
voted in.
basically, what I put it in context, right? It was it's all about the kind of Terence. I'm not saying right, saying it's Terence Lawrence, the Lawrence killing, Stephen Lawrence, and the fact that his killers have been brought to justice now. And it's the fact that this guy was saying, I'm annoyed that the newspapers are saying, black leaders of the community or leaders of the black community, and they're just generalising.
There shouldn't be a black community.
I know.
It's
So-
just our community.
I know that
It's a
in
British
itself is wrong, but it's the media for you. That's what they like to do. No matter what, like if it was like whites would be like the white community, if it was Asian, it'd be the Asian community. They like to put labels on these things, and the Anne was saying shouldn't listen to it because they like to divide and rule. So basically, what she's saying is by doing this, they're liking to as if they're trying to separate us off. But I mean, like
The question is, would a white MP posting that on Twitter keep his job?
no,
Aye,
they would.
exactly.
This is what
Definitely
really
not.
really annoyed me because obviously you've noticed that if anybody, not even an MP, any person's in the public spotlight, you can bar maybe say Frankie Bill or something because he just makes a career
Yeah.
of it. Make
I
something.
mean, he's
that
not a
remark,
politician. He's a
I know, but
comedian.
I mean, I'm saying anybody in the public spotlight. If they make any sort of remark about race or something like that, if they are white, then it is either a death to their career. They either get taken to court or something, or they pay masses and masses of money because they've done wrong. However, it's now obviously perfectly acceptable for a black person to be racist about the white. I'm saying it like liberal here, the white community.
Just deport them all.
You can. So how's it fair? I mean, so we're actually hamstrung what we're allowed to say, but they're given free.
The one
Range speech.
Anyway, she kept her
That's
job. She made an apology.
But that's no thing
and
that
she keeps her
bothers
job.
me. The
But-
thing that she should have lost her job for was being on Twitter.
thing
Why
is,
are
she
MPs on
doesn't-
Twitter?
No,
She
because
doesn't learn from that. She doesn't learn from that mistake. A couple of days later, she posts on Twitter again.
Well, why is she posting on Twitter? Do some fucking
London
MP
taxi
work.
drivers are racist. They won't pick me up. Oh, because I'm black.
That's not because
You know,
you're black, it's because you're an irritating bitch.
How
No.
can you make 2 mistakes like that and yet you're still surviving?
And then, in saying that, what's his fist? Miliband. It wasn't him that made the mistake personally, it was one of his minders.
Yeah.
Because the guy that
Oh, it's
hosted
for
the
Labour
show,
anyway. Nobody
again,
really
they're both
cares.
Labour.
Aye,
I
they're
mean,
both
like,
Blockbusters.
the show Blockbusters, and the guy put Blackbusters instead. Which did lead to a rather lengthy debate on Twitter about the exact distance between O and A on the keyboard.
Right, wait, I'm going for
It's just
I'm
sad
going for
that
another.
something as innocent as that is such a big, massive deal.
Yeah,
now.
this could be a new
It's
hit
such a
team.
it's a big racist storm
Ah,
that's engulfing the country.
I mean, you can
because
see
someone
that as-
accidentally
you can-
mistyped
See
the
what I
word.
think
You
should
can
be.
see that as a mistake, but like Diane Abbott saying white people are dividing and ruling, and then especially the fact she's used the colonialism, rules ruled as colonialism hashtag. I mean, that's just saying basically, we're going back to today's empire, we're getting treated as slaves.
Star
so on
Trek,
and so on.
Star Wars, Empire,
Double
Strikes
standards.
Back.
But the same thing happened was that
How
set
much
Blatter
shit you
with the
do?
football that time and he
Yeah.
came out and said football players are treated like slaves.
Yeah.
What, begin millions of pounds to
Exactly,
do?
that was the point. Obdi was outraged at that because he said how football players treated like slaves. They get paid thousands for kicking a ball.
I mean,
about.
that's who is the Argentinian? What's his name?
Sorry, before we go on to the football point, the thing that's annoying me, and it's not the fact that she never got sacked for that, why are MPs spending all this time on Twitter?
It's not. It's like they keep up with their
It's a very
constituents.
fast way to get in touch with your constituency.
That's how it,
It's
how it
also a
did.
very easy way to scupper your career.
Aye.
Well,
You hate to watch
That's
what
a
you say.
stupid thing. I mean, let's get the MPs off fucking Facebook and Twitter and get them actually out
Doing
in
the
the
job
community.
of the-
Well, in
Exactly.
saying that, say a constituent might on the fly go, by the way, here's something I want you to talk about, and say they actually pay attention to that. That's fine because that's one way to do it. But if it's just
Ah.
pointless procrastination, then it's like.
If she's gone on Twitter and blather and all this garbage, get them off Twitter. The MPs shouldn't be on Twitter. Get them bloody daily.
But it's how they'll do,
It's
Brian.
too big now. Twitter. You go on the news, you watch the news, and you'll see. Oh, this person said on Twitter. They're actually reporting what people say on Twitter. on the
I
news.
know.
Yeah.
Who cares
I
what
mean,
fucking
if it's something of this magnitude, like Diane Abbott,
whatever her name is.
Thing, aye,
Wait,
God.
she's wasting her time anyway.
But
Get
I mean,
off.
like she's
Twitter.
got a double whammy going for her because yes, she's black, but she's also a woman. So, like, as far as like Parliament's concerned, they
She's untouchable.
need to keep her, because if they let her go, then they're going to be thinking on two
Racist,
fronts.
sexist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if she came out she was a lesbian, you can not be like, or bisexual, that'd be like the.
Oh, I'd have deported her long ago.
Did they not try some of that angle and all when she was running for the leadership?
Aye, that's what I was
the
going to say.
Labour
You can, that's
candidate?
why she ran for it, because the Labour Party could be seen as like inclusive of all.
Oh, is she Labour?
races
Oh, this is
and-
completely
similar
We
irrelevant.
to-
said she's Labour. We just tell you she's Labour 5 minutes
I
ago.
thought Milliband.
It's similar to a law in American football. It's called.
Oh, but
it's actually
wait a
called
minute.
Rooney's law or
She's-
Rooney's rule or something like that.
she's not
and
just-
the idea is that they have clubs looking for managers and so on have to specifically interview people from minorities. Specifically, the lineup of candidates, they have to have a certain quota of black or
Aye.
Mexican or, you know,
Like Asian,
yeah,
whatever.
there has to be minorities in there.
I've just read the story the other night.
So it's not
and
just based on the candidate's ability.
she's not just any random.
It's based on the race.
She's not just any random Labour fucker. She's Shadow Health Minister as
Aye.
well.
Aye.
So she's higher up in Labour as well.
Aye, I mean, she is one of the front runners in the Labour Party.
So why do these folk that are again it's Labour, even at that you get a wee bit dodgy, but why are they not got more sense than to be saying stuff like
Exactly.
that?
I mean, you would think that.
Anybody else?
Politics
Any of the other?
itself.
That's the
any-
point. That's the point we've
but
just
any-
been trying to make.
Any of the other, like when you see them in America and all the politicians are on Twitter and whatever. Wait a minute, because I see you're about to talk here, mate, and nobody gets to do that. Right, when you see them in America, they've all got these media correspondents and whatever, and PR folk that check other stuff before they post it.
No, but
Because they ken that the fucking MPs or whatever.
what you've got to
are
remember
morons.
is there in America, it's totally different. There's nothing about politics. It's all about trying to slag off your
Ah, exactly.
Although
candidate.
in
But it
saying
should be
that,
the
it
same
was-
here. There should be some public relations or some guy that checks our thing before she posts it to Twitter or
Aye,
whatever.
but the thing is,
Because it's
she's
got to be put
not
on the
important
news.
enough, because she's
No.
no like the head of the Labour Party or Prime Minister or something like that. But like you're saying about America, I mean, it was actually quite amusing in sort of the early run up to like the first sort of set of like run your presidential like the nominee elections there, because like the amount of gaffes that were coming out. I think it was Herman McCain had no idea about a stance on Libya, despite the fact that they had literally just
I didn't
killed
give a
Gaddafi or
rip
whatever,
ass.
and he said that it was wrong or something like that. It's like you're not in touch with what you're in, and then like
Well,
the amount of
these
gaffes
folks
you
shouldn't
make.
be allowed on
The thing
Twitter.
is, I don't think there's actually more gaffes than there has been before. I think it's just
It's
the fact
just
that the media
publicised
pounces on
more.
it
Yeah.
so readily now.
But I mean, in
I
saying
mean,
that,
imagine
it's-
Bush in the run up to his
Oh,
him being
God.
voted in, the amount of gaffes he would have made.
I know, but it's quite
But
good
no.
that they're like calling them up, because like they might look good and say they make all
Mm.
these gaffes and they could be shit as president. So you can't.
And his folks talked about Bush, so I mean, watching the programme was dedicated to all his stuff and things like that, and he was talking about some serious stuff. He was on the golf course, and no, watch this drive.
Yeah, we're gonna get the terrace. Now watch us drive. Yeah,
How funny would it be if you had missed?
And no, but it was the one when the boy
Probably
threw
spends all his time playing golf,
the boy
you know.
threw a shoe at him and he went, haha, missed me.
If you the other one,
Aye. Still missed.
aye. But I mean, seriously, all the things to throw at the president of the United States. Why your shoe?
it's a massive insult.
I'm
but
sorry, but if you're an
it
MP,
was a specific thing.
as
Is it
far
not
as
that
I'm
culture?
concerned,
Yeah, I
if
know.
you're an
Yeah, you
MP,
should-
you
yeah.
shouldn't be wasting the
But I mean,
taxpayers'
if
money
you want
on
to do serious
Twitter.
damage, a grenade.
I think,
Would have
but
done
she has a
the job.
personal life
Well,
and
I
all.
imagine if you're going into
So-
a room with
Our
the
personal
president,
life-
you're
She's
going to be
entitled to
searched
go
for
on Twitter and
weapons
say
so
Right,
on.
we
So
can't-
from
we
now
can't
on,
keep going
put
with two
shoes up people 'cause
conversations.
they are
Whoa.
presidentially.
Whoa!
Shoes, sandals.
This is not going to work. Having two conversations doesn't work.
Okay, we'll stop.
Because
talking
folk can't have two conversations. I'll lead, use fully.
Fully.
That's
No.
how it works.
No.
No, that's how it works since day one. Believe me. Well, I've forgotten the point.
We're waiting, we're waiting, mighty leader.
It's because you do that. You wait till I
My
talk,
point-
and then
I've
you
got a new
start
point
talking
to
about
talk
something else right on the top of me, and it's completely annoying. And we're going to talk about this after the podcast has been recorded because it's annoying me.
But you did it to us.
But that's because I've got the list and I came where I'm trying to take this.
No, you didn't.
I've
But
got
you
a
didn't.
point to talk about that, right?
Believe me,
You
I do.
pretend you do.
No, I do.
But you didn't.
Anyway, and I've been trying to make this point for a while. Why are they wasting? You say she's got personal life and
Aye,
whatever.
she's got a bit. She can go on Twitter if she wants.
on her own time, but didn't it be post? Where?
But Mark, right? What time did she post it? Was it between the hours 9 and 5? You're saying well she shouldn't be on Twitter for all weekend. It could have been posted at fucking 10 o'clock at night just before she's gone to her bed. 'Cause that's her personal life. If she wants to post that, she posts that.
Aye, in her personal time.
Aye,
fair
but
enough.
you're making the assumption here that she's doing it when she's meant to be doing works, when she's meant to be doing
Well,
stuff for the
alright,
country.
well,
You're
we-
assuming she's on Twitter, on
Well, if it
Facebook.
was
Oh,
on her
he's saying that she's
personal
a
life,
shadow
why
health
is this?
secretary. So
No, it's the comment that she's made. They're talking about because it's somebody in the limelight, right? and they're meant to be, well, an important part of the country. And they're
Party, they're no important.
aye, but well, the Labour Party. I'll tell you I'll tell you this right now. Labour will win next election.
I doubt that
Oh, no.
highly. Highly
Well,
doubt
Right.
that.
They
He's
shouldn't
a-
be.
No,
No,
they
but
really
what
shouldn't
happened?
be.
Because
I think
the
they've
Lib
got-
Dems, the Lib Dem voters will only vote Lib Dem if the Lib Dems will went to Conservatives. They're not going to vote Conservative. They're going to vote Labour.
They will.
No.
Conservative could win it, but
I-
this is a debate for another.
I think
podcast.
Well, let's
I
agree.
think-
There'll be no coalition
I
next
think
year.
we could
Next
have
time.
I think we could have a crack team with Mr. Blobby and Chewbacca, and it would be better.
If Labour had the other Miliband in, they might have taken it.
Well,
But
in saying that, they're actually talking about replacing him within the next year if things.
he's too weak. I mean, if Tony
Somebody
Blair
goes-
goes, they won't let someone like that
Party's
get away with
weak.
that.
No.
He wouldn't let.
Like Tony
Dan
Gordon
Abbott
Brown.
get away with.
I could actually see Alistair Darling coming back to the fore, because he's one of the few
Jesus.
senior Labour Party members with any sort of integrity left.
Integrity left.
I mean, he
I
did
don't
hand
ever
himself-
had any.
Well, see, he actually refused to do things like Gordon Brown telling him that would actually be harmful to the economy, purely because Gordon Brown's wanted to do it to spite the Conservatives or to screw things up further for them. And he said no, it's all in his book. But he is actually one of the decent Labour politicians that are there.
Nah,
The ones people actually trust.
decent and Labour didn't go together, in my opinion.
And just the weird thing with his eyebrows and his hair.
You can't trust a
Yeah.
guy that's like that. You can't trust him.
How the hell do we trust you? Anyway,
If you do trust me, you're welcome to leave.
What have we got next, Mark?
Coming up next.
is it my point?
Yes, bring up your point.
I've got a new point. I managed to think it as soon as you springboarded there with great leader. I was about to talk about this.
Well,
what happened in our wee.
we should just make it clear. This is how it's going to work. It's how I thought you assumed it did work. I've got the list. I'm controlling where we're going and the time, and use fully. And
No.
that's how it works.
No.
I've got that now,
Well,
just
that's going
we're
to. That's
established.
how it is working. It's no up for debate.
fantastic. I mean, obviously, like one of the big points over. And this does impact on us, but it's slightly out of bounds to start with. So just bear with me. Again, how touchy you are on the subject, Mark.
I am very
Um,
touchy on very much subjects. Most of them. We've got an
Very
attention
nice.
span of about 10 seconds.
Anyway, obviously, like during like the holidays there, Kim Jong Il, the dictator of North Korea.
Oh, the wee chinky guy.
So being so called the Asian Elton
Just don't put it on
John
Twitter.
on platforms.
I won't put that on Twitter.
Obviously died, and his son has taken. I think it's his third son has taken over the leadership of the country. I mean, that's it, like it's quite an interesting like turn of developments. Things are going because he said we're going to continue on with our nuclear program, and we're basically going to continue being a pain in the arse.
Aye, but did you not say something about the South Korean? I can't remember what it was. He said something. I think if it's a president, a prime minister, whatever it is in South Korea. But he actually came out and said something about them. We'll continue our relationship with the ridiculous leader from
Aye.
South Korea.
Oh, North Korea, you mean? Because it was South Koreans that were talking, or
No, it was Kim Jong Il's third
Oh,
son.
I
It was
mean,
him that was talking about
aye.
the South Koreans.
most likely. But I mean, in saying that, I mean, I can see them this year. Because came out with either be Iran or North Korea that there's boots on the ground, one of the two. But it's quite an interesting like turn of events the way things are going over there. I mean, that country's a complete crackpot. This anybody else actually.
Standard of living for the people is atrocious.
Oh yeah, I mean millions are dying of starvation or
Well,
have died of starvation. in
the
that
one
country.
thing you hate to look back to is when the World Cup when they didn't show their country's games live, and when they had the good performance against Brazil, they showed that. But when they got beat 7-0 with Portugal, game never got
I actually
shown.
heard that they didn't live put the first two live, but after the first two performances, they actually were looking quite good. They were holding their own.
Yeah.
So they actually did stream the one against Portugal live, thinking, oh, the team were putting a decent shift.
I think it was
Well, in saying
Portugal.
that,
No, the
it'd
second game
only
they
be like
played. Can't
Pyongyang if
mind
they would
the.
get the broadcast.
But I'm
because
sure,
that's like the only place
I'm sure they
that
showed
actually-
the replay, the one when they played them in '66 when they beat the Portuguese.
Wouldn't it surprise
I know they
me?
edited I knew they edited the highlights to make it look as if it was South Korea, not North Korea, on the ball constantly.
Aye. But I mean, it's mad the way that it goes there. I mean, everything is like controlled by the state. I mean, in fact, Kim Jong Il's dad is still the eternal president
Yeah.
of the country. So, in all intents and purposes, this guy's not really ruling the country. It's the ghost that's ruling the country, as it were.
Bring back socialism.
I wonder, do the people actually even believe what's being told? Because
Yeah.
they talk about them being brainwashed, but I
See-
can't.
It's maybe more out of
Jong-il
fear, I would
claims that
say.
he once played a round of golf in 18 shots, hole in one in
Yes.
every single hole.
But see,
Do these people
like-
lap this up and believe it?
They do believe it or not, because like everything, they don't get access to the outside world. There's like no internet. Like
But-
only the very super rich get access to the intranet.
A lot of
Or is it
the
just them just saying, "Oh, we believe it"? Yeah, right.
Because there's still good parts of the country that even have electricity yet.
Most of the country doesn't. I mean, really only Pyongyang that's got any sort of decent infrastructure.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's for a fair. I mean, you seen them all when the boy died. I mean, cheering. I mean, if he was that much an arsehole, why
They
they
were-
cheering?
they
They'd
were
be
great.
cheering.
They were
for
cheering,
it.
They were crying. They were absolutely in tears.
Aye,
were
they weren't the
devastated.
cheer.
Although
That's what I mean.
spectators mentioned that it might look
A
more
fake.
performed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what
But
I
you see,
mean.
then again, it depends. Some it might be
fair.
genuine, because I mean, like, it was also expected of them. If you're in Pyongyang, you're expected, because that's like the heart of the party. You're expected to be.
That's what I
acting
mean.
this
It's
way.
been done through fear and all this stuff.
Aye, but I mean,
It's
but
been-
some of them do believe it.
put
I mean,
onto them.
like, it's believed to an extent, because I was reading an article and it was talking about this guy that's studying, I want to say mineralogy, but it's not mineralogy, it's metallurgy, all that sort of stuff. And
Nobody cares what either of them mean anyway.
basically dealing with alloys and metals and such like.
Like you.
No problem. And basically goes, the great leader, which is what they call Kim Jong-il, was gracious enough to put all the information we need on the intranet. And he even admitted that he couldn't, like, obviously, like correspond any of his work with anybody studying it anywhere else in the world, or get any, like, reports there. And also, like, they asked folk, right, who do you kin for world leaders? Somebody said Stalin. So like, they didn't kin, like, very few of them know that man's even set foot on the moon. Landmark events that we take for granted.
Sounds controversial to me anyway. On the moon.
I don't think anyone will know what's going on in there unless you're there, and obviously you can't get in, can you?
No.
No, it's just like this.
Oh,
idol.
you see what they want you to see. It was
Yeah.
the same with China.
Exactly,
You'll
during the
see-
Olympics.
aye,
They
you'll
paper over
aye.
the cracks.
You'll see what they want you to see.
Exactly. I mean, like this eye surgeon, he was going in there. Most of the medical equipment in there has been like donated by big firms and that. But this guy, he's got this new procedure and it like saves like thousands of folk. And he went in, but the camera crew that went because he was to be filmed, right? Because that was part of his work. They knew that. They also took in secret cameras as well, and so they could film. But like for the very minute before they even stepped into the country, they were met by a reminder, and they were followed about the place. Like they even tried to like walk out
What's
within
that in
a few
China?
minutes.
Same in
Yeah,
China.
it's mad. It's
Well, it's one
But
way.
again, we're doing it as well. United Kingdom hosting the Olympics down in London. We're not having any events in Methil. You only get to see what we want you to see.
But in saying that, would Methil support the Olympics? I doubt it.
Well,
Like, our main sort of stadium capacity area would be London or Edinburgh.
Well,
to an
Scotland
extent.
won't play part. They're having football matches up in Hampton.
Yeah.
So it's a British Olympics. As much
Yeah.
as people just say, oh, it's London, it's London, it's London.
That's what I mean.
It's English, it's an English Olympics.
Yeah, but I know what I mean, but it's like, I mean, in saying that Methil wouldn't support, like, you couldn't exactly hold Olympic football at Bayview.
No.
Much like you couldn't do like.
But you can't seriously be
to
suggesting
be
we hold
fair-
the Olympics
let
in
me
metal.
finish. Let me finish my point.
The amount of folk that will go to the game, you probably could.
Sailing in the fourth.
Aye, but like,
beyond that.
it's the same. Like when they did it in China, you
Started
couldn't
with full
exactly have like Olympic swimming in some lake in provincial China, which would show you what it's like there. You know, so they've got to do it where they can do it, and it just so happens that Beijing, which where they could do it, and that's where they can control it.
No, but that's not what I mean. But you see what they want you to see. What I mean is, are they
But we can what you mean you're talking about.
like freedom of the press. And, like,
Aye.
what they can
they're not picking the best area.
Oh, and saying that one of the most amazing gaffes Olympic was when the Chinese lost something and the BBC presenter went, "That's a real chink in their armour." I was creased. I was actually on the floor of that. That was Mark just like sitting there.
Casual
Going,
racism.
I'm not.
Mild racism there.
I'm
it's not even
I'm just committed
registered
to
on
be
Mark's
honest.
racist scale.
Aye.
Yeah.
No, doesn't it at
So
all.
it's been going back to him dying. It's been a year for the dictator's been toppled.
Oh, definitely.
Gaddafi's gone. Kim Jong Il.
I mean, I didn't understand why we
Bin
were waiting for all
Laden.
this.
Bin Laden, Mubarak,
Mubarak, yeah.
Tunisia. That was
I mean, the piss
Yeah,
about
but-
all this, so
Can't
let's get a crack team of fucking assassinators, right, and just go through it and get
that
rid
would
of
be
them all.
assassins then.
Assassinators.
I don't fucking get. I didn't do English. I did
I'm
particular
going home
one.
to play Assassinators Creed.
Yeah,
Yes.
good. But that's what we need, right? We need a fucking team of folk that just go places and get rid of all that.
Team America.
Oh yeah.
Call them whatever you want. But
I mean, it's
Kim
easier said
Jong Il
than
is
done.
very lonely.
But I
it's
mean,
not easier said than done. We've got like all the folk that are trained in the army, the fucking MI6 and whatever. Let's get them trained and send them to somewhere and
but
get
you
them
can
fucking
why we
killed.
don't.
Because we're fucking
We're far too
useless.
nice. We're far
Right,
too nice,
exactly.
mate.
I'm
Well,
probably useless.
we're a country that tells their armies, don't shoot at you unless you're being shot
That's
at.
what I mean. Useless. No.
but
Shoot first, ask
that's
questions later.
international rules of engagement. That is.
Well, we shouldn't
like
follow
amazing.
them.
Aye, that's to try and the
Aye.
Subaru
But
try and
you
stop
see-
me shooting. But if you
but-
see somebody coming at you with an AK-47,
Because the arseholes didn't abide by international law.
No,
so
they didn't. That's a bit of a problem. But
a bit of a problem. It's a
a bit
fucking
of-
major one
The bigger
problem on the
is
scale.
We're not invading Iraq or
No.
Afghanistan. We're trying to Make it
Yes.
peaceful. We're trying. So we need to.
We're at war.
Yes,
we're
mate,
not
just
at war.
fucking leave it.
We don't want to look like we're
Just leave it.
settling in. You know.
I would just
The other one that's
Sorry,
meant
I've
to
got
be.
kids out in the neighbourhood. Hello there.
I need to worry about stuff here. Never mind in fucking
The
Afghanistan.
other one that could be kicking up against the Argentinians are apparently wanting the Falkland Islands,
Oh,
but
but it's insane that if they try that again, we could still. Oh, actually, this brings me to another point. I was reading an article the other day, right, and actually we pay like third highest in the world for our army, right? So like, think
And they're
it's
fucking useless.
America and China that are ahead of us, right? And
What
like,
tanks that didn't have
Russia
armour on them?
and India.
It's not
are,
a
like,
tank
world
then, it's
wars.
basically you're driving a
Like, we
Vauxhall
have
Corsa.
something like 227 main battle tanks, something like 300 odd fighter ground aircraft, and 11 ballistic submarines. We've got no like SAM like ballistic launchers because that's our submarines, so they're counting that. Now, if you look at, say, for example, Russia, they've got several thousand tanks, several thousand planes.
Well, we need to be pals with Russia then.
Like, I mean, like, and they're spending a fraction
But
of the amount that
because
we
they piss
spend.
about.
So what I'd like to know is where the hell all this money's going? Because
The morons!
I mean,
Russia,
we've got something
no,
like
because
what?
you did say fucking Russia at the top of the army sitting with big hooses. They're fucking blowing
Yeah,
stuff.
they do have quite big. They are quite lavishly done out there. But obviously, it's maybe cheaper because they're our own house. We sort of.
We piss about and MP expenses and all this, and all the money gets wasted on fucking folk.
the other thing is as well.
I mean, there was a
when the
story.
army needs
Hold on.
better
There was a
armoured
story
cars, did they get them?
Hold on, because I'll forget my
Do
point.
you really think the cars are that badly armoured? I think it's more armour is always better.
Aye,
But
they're,
compared to most countries in the world,
they're
I'm
talking
pretty sure
about
our
this
soldiers are
with
pretty
some
well
vehicles
defended.
when they
Yeah,
hit
I
an
mean, somebody
You
can
can
LED.
always improve.
But when
but
when we're fighting for side by side
Well,
with
they're clearly not
Americans,
sufficient.
and they just throw. And saying that, like Obama's actually cutting it down.
that's
like,
because there's no money. We can't
yeah.
afford armies. We've got
Well,
all these tanks and shit. We've got
That's
no-
because
no
we're
way.
wasting it on
The
shit.
Yanks
No,
were a
but
day
like,
out for going bust.
We can keep ours. We've got a nice small army. We've got 227. But we've actually got more senior generals in the British Army than we do main battle tanks.
I see that, but that means nothing to me.
I put it this way, senior
no.
officers.
For the basic, your guy in the street doesn't care about that, whatever that is. What, or at least for what I care about is, why are we pissing about with wasting that, right? Counting tanks and whatever. Let's just get enough fucking tanks to do what we need to do and get rid of all
Hey,
the
Mark, I'll
arseholes.
simplify it for you. They're people with loads of stars on their shoulders sitting in offices.
I know
and
that.
we've got big
That's
metal
what- that's
boxes
what-
that blow the shit out of folk.
That's what I mean when I'm saying let's stop all the waste. We're not needing 600 folk in an office with a star on their blazer
I
or
think
whatever.
the man in the
Just
street
get
is
rid of them.
more concerned about, is my country safe?
Exactly.
Is my family
I mean, because we
secure?
have things like riots and whatever, and what
the
happens?
answer is we're
Fuck
not.
I
all.
don't care,
simply.
to be honest, what's going on out in
Well, that's
Iraq or
what
Iran.
I'm
It doesn't
saying
affect
here.
me directly.
Well, it really does.
Well,
say,
obviously
like-
with the possibility of nuclear weapons and so on,
Well, that's
obviously,
what I mean,
that links to the
yes.
is my country secure, but
But I mean, like,
how do
take
they run their
Iran's-
country?
Well, take Iran's saber rattling
Exactly.
at the minute, right? They're
Exactly.
threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz. I think it's Hormuz, and that is where a sixth. Well, varying sources that you read it between it's like a 56th or 57th of the world's oil supply comes through there. That gets cut off, then you're.
To be honest with you, I think it's time that we stop worrying about all this oil anyway and we move on. I mean,
To what?
it's coming to an end. We're going to need to
I
think
know, I'm saying
about
that,
the,
Mark.
What are we moving on to?
well, exactly. It's going to have to be solar power, wind power. It's going to have to be renewable stuff.
Well, and that's what I was going to say.
Because we're running out. Because we're
Um,
running out. There's
the
no.
wind-
There's no. Wait a minute. There's no two ways about it. We're
No.
running out of oil.
It's
No,
fine
but the
in
wind
diesel, so
turbines
we
that
have the
blow
right
up with
eventually.
too much wind.
Exactly.
No,
I mean,
it's
exactly. Another example of a waste of money.
Mm.
They've put a wind turbine up that can't stand wind.
exactly.
I mean, who's got the plans for this wind turbine and
The
approved
SNP.
it? Exactly, some moron.
Well, it's all new technology. There's always going to be mistakes. There's always going to be errors.
It's not really
We
new
just need
technology,
to get
it's
it
basically
sorted.
the
No,
same
but
as a water field that you
there's
put in
I'll
there.
give you that. There's wee errors, but the fact
Obviously,
that a
when
wind.
something goes
no,
up-
wait a minute. Wait.
First time, there's a
Aye.
good chance that it won't work perfectly.
No,
That's
I'm not
fine.
expecting it to work perfectly,
It will
but
imp-
what
it will
I'm
improve.
saying is a wind turbine should surely be able to handle a bit of wind.
Ah,
It
well,
does
Mark,
handle a bit of wind, just
No.
not too much wind.
Ah,
How could you have too much wind for a wind
Well,
turbine?
the same, is it over
exploded
50
during
miles an
the-
hour?
Somewhere
Aye.
between no wind and hurricane, there's a limit
Oh, what, a
how much
hurricane?
wind.
But there's a difference between 50 mile an hour and a hurricane.
What you think's a lot of wind might be, a very lot of wind to someone. What
Yes.
you think's a little wind might be far too much.
Yeah, I mean, like
A wind
just-
turbine should be able to do
Aye.
50 miles an
Oh,
hour
well,
wind.
on the subject of renewable energy and that, I was going to say this because obviously I read New Scientist and that, and they're actually on the verge of installing a new battery
Well, that's what we need. We need.
in electric cars that would take you up to sort of like to comparable with a full tank
Aye, well,
of
we were talking
diesel
about this
or petrol
before.
on one charge.
Well, we were talking about this before we actually started the podcast. That we need, once we get cars that can do about 150, 200 miles.
Aye, but they're this
fine.
close. That's what I can find. Because they've actually figured out
Well,
what was destroying the
got them.
batteries.
They've got them in America now.
Ah.
You can get
How
a-
expensive is the average electric car now at the moment? 30
Well,
grand,
I
40 grand or
I
Although
something?
think they are-
it's only
they're more
expensive
expensive.
because of fringe
It's not,
technology
it's
in the
not
market.
front cost, but
If it was like, say it was like the industry standard, you'd be looking at the same sort of prices that you've got for your diesel and
I mean-
petrol cars at the minute, because there would be no new technology implemented. You wouldn't be needing
But
to
electric
X, Y, and Z
electric car doesn't go solving them because you're just plugging it into the wall. That's still using oil.
Yes,
to
but you're
power
still,
it, isn't
you'd be
Yeah.
using less.
it? No, particularly.
Uh,
you're
It's more about
using
emissions.
less,
Unless your
less oil for
electricity
fuel.
is generated by wind.
I
In which
I think it's
case-
more about the emissions.
Well, that,
You obviously electric car, you don't have the CO2 going into the atmosphere.
aye, but no, but what we need is
How
power
much does it cost
consumption.
you to charge up your car by using your electricity?
It will be the same as petrol, the new, exactly.
Aye.
But what I'm saying is, it's no renewable energy. It's maybe an electric car, but you're
Flintstones,
still
that's the way
using
to
you're
go.
still using power for oil that
What?
comes to your house. What we need is, like we're saying, I mean, it's expensive, but it's going to have to happen because the oil is gone.
Aye.
What a worse time. We've got no money. Countries, its
Well,
pockets are empty.
Well,
Yeah.
they says
You're
that we've
asking
got
the
no money,
average
but
man in the street
we-
who's just
we-
lost his job to fork out an electric
but we
car.
do.
It
The
doesn't
thing
work.
is, we do have money. It's just getting wasted on rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, no, wait a minute. I mean, NHS the other year ago, how much money did they spend on getting a new stupid computer system thing?
Aye, it didn't.
That was a controversial thing. The trams were wasting money on that.
Ah.
We're wasting money on this. Olympics. Why are we wasting money on Olympics?
It
What?
makes us look good. And it increases our standing. in the
Cares?
The
world.
Olympics
Waste the
generally
money.
make more
Yeah,
after
in
it.
the long term.
Aye.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Brings in business,
Uh,
etc., etc.
The only thing is, we
I mean,
might be
like-
getting at the bad time where every country's fucked with money at the
Aye.
minute,
Aye, I
so
can't
we
see
could be
that.
humped there.
I mean, like,
But-
you're talking
We're
about
wasting
renewable
money on all
energies
this
and that.
stuff,
We say
basically.
we had a bad
I
time.
mean,
What about Greece?
What they're actually developing at the minute,
Not
you
so long
may
ago.
be interested in this, is what they call phase change materials, or whatever it is. And basically, like during the night, it sort of freezes itself, then during the day it'll melt with the heat and it releases energy. So it's reducing like, the amount of electricity in a building, anything like that. I was reading an article again, New Scientist, a very good magazine, very interesting. I was talking about your Arduino chips on Mark.
Aye.
Instead
Well,
of putting
we
your
need
heating
to-
on this, well, we're kind of through winter now. Well,
It's still cold.
but instead of putting your heating on, just put a jumper on.
Mm.
Yeah, you see, that's fine. But,
It only works to a certain extent.
And then if you're getting cold, with a jumper on, stick your jacket
cold.
on,
No.
and etc. etc.
does that mean when we see you with your jumper and your coat on these, you're absolutely frozen?
No, sometimes I do that when I'm walking. Out and
No,
about.
I mean, I'm not saying didn't put your heating or whatever, but we're thinking long term and they do have policies for this, but it's all pissing about like plans. Oh, we'll do this in 2013, we'll do it in 2015, we'll do it then, we'll do it then. No, let's do it now.
You can
Well,
would
we
also
need plans. Think about it. About 20 years ago, our parents didn't make plans, and that's why we're in this fucking state.
No, but why are
If we make plans now,
How old, Andrew? How old are you?
I'm 22 now, actually.
Right, so you're fine. Andrew wasn't planning. Daniel wasn't planning. You're saying your parents never made plans.
Oh, I'm talking about the environment. So
I think you made a bad tumbleweed
Yeah.
joke that didn't go anywhere.
that didn't really work there.
No,
It would
anyway.
have been better if you were 20. It would have worked perfectly.
No, that'd still be really bad. But
It's like a joke.
but it's too much putting stuff off. It's like they're doing that. They've got an energy bill now that they're not wanting to commit to till everybody agrees, and it's going to be agreed in 2015, and nothing's going to happen until 2020.
But
No,
see-
let's start at the day. I mean, if we could put roadworks on the road for 72 weeks, let's get some solar panels on government buildings. Let's get some wind turbines in places that can actually handle some wind.
The point is, Mark, right, to link this back with the trains, you're talking about CO2 emissions. Basically, they didn't want folk using their cars, right? So then you go to public transport. But now folk are using the trains to deal with overcrowding. The SNP is going to cut train capacity, so more folk are going to use their cars. So
no,
you can't win.
Yeah.
You can't win. Whatever you
Well, everything's
do,
rising.
you can't win.
Either train fares or petrol.
Catch
Get your poison.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the cost of a train ticket has went crazy.
Well, I
Well,
checked
that's more
it.
to do with the fact that before
They're robbing
they
bastards.
take just to fund the trains. They take money from tickets, and they also take money from every taxpayer. So what they're doing now is they're taking less from the taxpayers and taking
Yeah,
more
tickets.
specifically from the people who actually use the
Yeah.
trains.
But I mean, in saying it, and like the amount of money they're taking, our services are still shit.
Well,
And the infrastructure is terrible. I mean,
I
they used
checked
to have,
for
like,
a train
the
ticket,
best.
right? We played Arbroath there on Sunday. I checked for a train ticket, return for Kirkcaldy to Arbroath, £19.20 it was going to cost for a return.
See, for one person,
Was
that's
that
just
off-peak?
that's just
Well,
ridiculous.
Oh,
No
it's
one's got
off-peak.
it right.
Aye,
The
'cause
only
it-
country that's got a half decent train service is Japan, and that's it. No one else has got a massive,
But
really.
then you
No,
see,
but
see
it's a
around,
major, it's a
around
major
Europe,
standpoint for us because we are the home of the railway. You know.
No, we're the home of
It's-
football, we're the home of everything. But it doesn't mean we're going to be the best at it.
I know, but it'd be nice to see it. I mean, like some bits of the infrastructure really haven't been updated that much since like Victoria.
We're not the best any
It's-
because everybody pisses about. We piss about too much. Nobody's held it. Oh, I've
Yeah,
said this.
that's-
I've said this many weeks. Nobody's held accountable. Nobody's brought up on anything, and money's just going to waste.
it's
You know what
always
else
just
is, like,
trying to
majorly
blame
problematic?
somebody else, pass the buck.
Exactly.
Aye.
That's what I mean. There should be somebody. I've said that before. Somebody should be accountable. Somebody should be
Aye.
shot for a fuck up. That's what should happen.
Aye, I mean-
Oh, sorry, you've stolen money on it.
money.
Aye, you've stolen all this money for expenses. What will we do? Will we take it back for you? No, we'll just leave
What
you
if
to
you
go
have?
on. Exactly.
you come at
Blow
us
the
as like-
fucking head off, and that person's gone. They're not going to steal any more money if their head's off.
You know what else is like really, really annoying? Is the fact that like your electricity providers, your gas companies, like all your they're not actually accountable to really anybody in the UK. So the government can't say reduce your prices now or you're screwed.
Well, they are. They
But-
are
but-
governed.
There's a
Half of
20,
them are
there's another 20% increase.
You'll find a lot of them are
Aye.
actually in it together, and
Aye.
Aye,
they're in
there's
contact with each
definitely,
other, and they'll
but
say,
they're
"Look,
all-
we're all going to raise our prices," and they'll all do it. And
Or
there's no
like, right,
competition.
this time we'll let you know your age.
Well, it's the same everywhere, I mean-
customers, and the next time, the next person will say, "Ken, well, I'll take my turn. I'll raise it this time," and then they'll probably work it that
But
way.
it's,
But I mean, it's completely pointless
I
because
mean,
all
it's
they're paying is
the,
hurting them.
it's the same everywhere. I mean,
Like
all the
the-
supermarkets. I mean, all the prices are generally about the same.
Sainsbury's
I mean,
is cheaper.
pish. I do believe that for a
No,
second.
my mum
They're-
went shopping
it-
on
it's-
Saturday.
it's-
No,
And
they're no.
she was like,
they're no.
pennies,
They're
it's a
all.
big difference.
They're all the same.
Zaz does the one where you could go
Aye.
shopping
Aye.
someplace else, and then if you get
Aye.
found out it's
They're all-
cheaper, you can
they're
get
all
money
this-
back.
They're all
Anyway.
roughly the same.
Aye, what I'm saying is it's basically price fixed. They're all the same. It's the same with mobile phones. Doesn't matter. You get a contract with 3 Orange, T-Mobile. They're all around the same
Aye,
price.
same price.
That's all fixed. I mean, Sky, Virgin Media, a lot. You can. The choices. You've got choice, but basically the prices are fixed. Aye,
The thing
thing-
is, it seems to be driven by competition, though. Whereas with the energy companies, it doesn't. I mean, you look at the profits. They had
huge
massive
profits.
profits last year, yet the prices still rise just to give them
Well, I
more
mean, it's the same with
profits.
petrol. I mean,
And
how much did
taking-
that? What's the
They
company?
take, let's say, £100 out of the pocket of every person, and
Aye.
they put £1 million in the pocket of
What's
some
that?
manager,
What's the
some
fuel?
director.
What's the fuel company that turn about £3 billion in profits, and yet fuel prices still rise?
Aye.
That's why they're taking 3.1 billion in.
I mean, it is
BP,
really,
it was BP.
Aye.
But am I right in understanding, because there's the hair car or that, or the bother, but it's not actually the price of the petrol itself, it's
Tax.
like the tax that's on
Aye,
it.
definitely.
I think we've got the most expensive petrol in Europe, I think. At
Yeah.
I
least.
think so, but I mind that time was it 140 odd when we went
But the
down to
thing is,
London.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
we're
more
taxed
dedicated.
multiple times. I mean, you're taxed on your petrol, you're taxed for your road, you're taxed
Exactly.
you're taxed on the insurance that you pay. There's tax on. I mean, to drive a
So-
car, you're
so
paying
that-
about 5 different taxes.
That's why folk use public transport, which is getting overcrowded, so they're going to cut it.
Aye. Oh, on the subject of tax, I would say like David Cameron, I some folk here hate him. You're conservative as well.
No, this is just my area of expertise now. Tax.
Alright,
Right, carry on.
good. Anyway,
I mean, it's 20% now. Fucking hell.
Aye, but I mean, it's not like they're talking in EU putting like a new like tax on like transactions, like shares and all like that, which would mean like mass up. So David Cameron's again threatening to use the veto in Europe to stop this from happening. Because he's saying that it would basically kill the city.
If you ask me, we need to get out of Europe.
We do.
That's-
We
that's
need
a-
to get out there. That
that's-
needs to be done.
The problem is we're all complaining about bankers making too much money. That's the big thing. But if we don't pay them money, they'll go elsewhere,
Yes, that's one thing.
and we're all going to suffer.
No, but there's money, and then there's fucking
Stupid money. Yeah,
It
It
exactly.
doesn't matter. It's about competition again. You know, if I'm a banker and I can earn, let's say, £500,000 a year here, but I'm getting offered $2 million in America, you know, I'm going to go to America.
Aye,
aren't I?
don't move.
But
Of course you
I
All,
think-
all the expertise going to leave. If we want to be a
But-
premiership country, we've got to pay premiership wages.
by the time,
Like
but
getting back to
America will be the
football,
same
yeah.
for bankers. They're going to have to reduce all their wages as well.
Yeah,
mean-
no, really.
Definitely, I mean-
I mean,
even
saying
more.
that, like the banks
gotta
have
come at a
had
point
problems
with the
as well. I mean,
economy.
your Goldman Sachs, they actually propped up, they actually like forged part of Greece's economy to get them into the euro, and you see what that's led them.
Oh, well, Greece was
You
the kind of thing basically before we're getting the loans, they we'll pay you back, we'll pay you back.
Aye.
No,
Well,
well,
and
no.
saying that, actually, a wee quick interjection here because I quite like these things as well. Mark up quite nicely.
Oh, I'm not in the mood to be riled up, so just be careful.
That's one thing that would actually harm us if we were independent, because A, would lose our AAA rating system, like our credit rating, and B would then be getting market bonds, basically loans, and we'd have to pay them back at a higher rate, which would kill us financially
Aye, but
as well. Which is one of the good things about this country at the minute, because we've still got our AAA rating. You know, America doesn't. I'm not sure. I don't think France does.
thing is,
Italy
Craig,
definitely doesn't.
France is going to be losing its.
the thing is,
Yeah.
Craig, Salmon's big plan to combat that is the euro, because the euro will save Scotland.
But you see, that's another thing. He might have to go into that. I think he might just bring his own currency in. You can we'll call it
Call it the
the
salmon.
ball bag.
No, I can't see that happening.
We'll pay each other in like scales of fish.
To be honest, when I'm the king of Scotland, you don't need money, because I'll just deport you.
Well, apparently we've got that much oil in Scotland. We'll just do that. We use that.
No, like I've said, oil's gone.
Oil runs
That's
out.
gone.
No, there's no point in bringing. I mean, when you're we're going to bring up the independence thing, but there's no real point in bringing up oil, because it doesn't
Aye.
matter where you go. There's oil nowhere. It's coming to an end, whether you like it or no.
That's
coming
the
to an
whole,
end.
that's my whole argument against
And
independence.
it's our fault as well.
Well,
It's all about the
it makes no
carbon
difference
footprint,
to independence or no.
Apparently, the,
No,
No,
oil.
but that
average
does if you
American
base it on your
has
oil,
got 20
which they're doing,
Well,
carbon
because
clearly
it's
should-
Scotland's oil,
Oh,
because
snake.
Scotland would make all the money off
Do
oil.
you
oil.
guys, when
Yeah.
Mr. Romanov is trying to make a
Yeah,
point?
the Americans, apparently their carbon footprint is 20 times bigger than the average African.
Well, think about it
Well.
logically.
That is why it's our fault. It's
The average African.
no, I'm saying that it's down to us.
Yes or no?
We have the choice. We could cut back.
We definitely could. I mean, that is one of the things that's really because we have got rampant consumerism. You know, but that is obviously
Humans are
built up-
selfish as a rule.
Yes, well,
We don't like giving
Well,
up
that's
things.
not about to change.
I don't like giving up sleep. You know, we're selfish. We look out
you're
for
in the
ourselves.
wrong job, I think. If you don't
Yeah,
get
I
yourself-
am. Yeah.
But none of that's going to change. What needs to change is renewable energy.
Oh, and
all that
saying that
stuff.
though, right? If we really put our
And-
minds to it, we
and-
could come up
no.
with a synthetic substitute to oil that would actually be environmentally friendly if
Yeah.
we really put our
No,
minds to it.
try to do that with
Let's
No,
get the
that's
magic
fine.
asbestos.
There's
Don't try to
biofuels,
use
there is
asbestos
stuff.
to.
Maybe I've no
fuel.
idea. But I mean, and say, I mean, the amount of things that we have done, I mean, we're like literally a bugger away from curing like AIDS and cancer now, right? So like, if we can do that,
I honestly hope that doesn't happen.
then
I'll tell you what. Some of the
we could do it.
cures for cancers and that, and making lives longer. That could kill the world.
Exactly.
Can you
I-
imagine
I
if
could-
everyone lives for 150 years?
Well,
Aye.
You know,
we'll see.
they work for their 40 years and they're on pension for 70, 80 years. It just doesn't work.
It
It would never work.
Well, I think
People live
the
longer.
pension
It's a bad
thing's
thing.
away at the wind anyway. But
Well,
we're
in saying that, but that's
going
taking
to have
work
to
for
we're
your
going to have to
company,
wrap
so-
up this topic anyway, which we can have another week talk about.
It's been quite a good
I,
topic, actually. It's been quite-
I did have a few other things, but we are coming to an end for this week. So if anybody's got any last quick points that they want to make before I wrap this up, do so now, please.
Well, let's say one thing.
Well,
if
Karen-
you're working with someone, right, it's good manners to speak to them. Don't ignore them. If I speak to you, start a conversation, reply, speak
Yes,
back.
that-
Don't give me a death glare.
In fact,
I know.
actually, that was actually did that not actually come up
Aye.
at Sainsbury's a wee while back when a particular colleague went and blew their head and got transferred out.
I don't
Or
remember.
were you
there at that
My
point?
time.
And on that note, we're going to wrap this up. I'd like
Oh.
to thank everybody for listening. If you did actually stick to the end of this it's been a really random episode this week.
It's been a good episode.
Because there's fuck all's happened in the
there
area in the
there
last
is.
week.
To be honest, there is no in the last 3 weeks. To be honest,
Yeah.
3 weeks news. But I think we've had a holiday. That we're warming ourselves back up with the first episode. But I hope it wasn't too bad. And just to finish off, you can find us at the usual place on Facebook, markiesrants.com. You can find our individual pages, although we're going to have an updated page on our website shortly. But we're all on Facebook. You can find us. Comment if you're wishing that we had brought up a story this week. Well, feel free to tell us. You'll get credit unless you do want credit, and be sure to mention that. Email us, post it, or let us know what you want to hear us moan about, because I'm perfectly happy to rage about anything. And on that note, I'll say thanks for listening. I was Mark Lamont,
I'm Andrew Dees.
I'm Craig Docherty.
I'm Daniel Lane.
And Andrew Heath.
and cheers.
And who the fuck is Dale Beveridge?
Oh, I wish I had recorded that.
I thought about it just after. Yeah.
Oh, please let me just record you saying that at the end. No, right now, but. Go for a smoke.
Oh.
Jesus.
You got any thoughts for a song for them?
I think you should sing Who the Fuck is Dale Burbridge. You must be a football song
No.
that goes like Who the fuck is
I think you should go for like the bridal march.
Just go, Dale Beveridge. Who are ya? Who are ya?
You fellow.
Actually, I was at the ice hockey the other week, and the goalie actually fell flat on his arse. It was hilarious.
No,
There was nobody near him. He was warming up, and he went splat.
the Rangers Motherwell game last Monday, Bobby was running after the ball and he slipped on his arse right in front of the Blue Order. Who are ya? Who are ya?
Yeah, Craig.
Who fell over?
Do you know a girl, Casey Galloway? She was in your year's school, and she works with me. That's what I was on about at the end there.
Yeah.
She's a fucking bitch. Did I say that to you?
He says,
I had to hold her back the entire. Really?
Mark Lamont an hour ago, some cunt posted on my Facebook, please ignore that.
What did
Mr.
you
I put up
See, I've seen some
at Jenna Mackenzie. So it tagged Jenna Mackenzie, I think. Then it said, "I love you." ... I love you. ...
Marry me.
Marry me? Question mark.
That's why I went
Space. Or just sex. ...
See, I was going to go
You
in and
still
like
love
it.
it.
Did you get any replies, Mark?
He must have done, he must have got something.
Aye.
So I was going to go in and like it, but I thought no, because that will beat
although
his
you'll
phone and
notice
he'll realise.
he's no letting because his Facebook's still open. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to go over again.
Nah, once is plenty.
Exactly. Two's just classless.
No,
That last time we did it and changed his picture to a nude and all, and that.
Wait a minute, you were going to tell me something about Mark and Jenna at the start, and you were like, "I'll tell you after. Tell you after."
Oh, the new year.
Oh yeah.
You missed out here, like.
Did they hook up?
No, no.
Did they almost
basically,
hook up?
it was just going from one extreme to another.
see, I made the smart move and got out.
He wrestled her at the door and legged it out the front door.
Derry
she
on
couldn't
V
go
must
on
have
Andrew,
scored the
couldn't
night.
go on Mark, she was just.
She was basically on a threesome.
Nice.
And she tried to make him jealous by going out to me for 20 minutes.
Just 20 days.
Yeah, she does that all the time at work.
That's nowhere near 9 hours these. That isn't these missed.
I wasn't listening actually, I was reading something on Facebook.
Say that's nowhere near 9 hours.
Hmm.
Joke last week.
I've no attempt at anything yet.
Oh,
I'm
Christ.
warming up.
You don't know what I can.
Oh, I wish I could have seen what the replies were, because they'll get deleted now.
You really,
I
really,
hate it going.
you really don't want to see Mark wear. It's rather scary. Are you?
I did get some replies. Thanks for that.
What sort of replies? Were they laughing, or were they like, "Really? You finally admitted it"? No, that's a question. What were they?
A lot of fucking folk shocked.
Who commented on it like?
It's another folk for work.